republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For item 3.1, presentation of special event approvals, we have the introduction of Dania Point Vice President Meredith Keeler. Meredith, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Meredith Keeler. I'm going to list my New York City address as I'm currently relocating. 26 East 126th Street, New York, New York 10035. I am so very excited. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners, and City staff for welcoming me here to Dania Beach. I have to say it's been a very, very quick introduction. My joining of Kimco and my joining of the Dania Point team has been really special. As I mentioned, I'm relocating from New York City. I most recently worked for a company that I specifically managed the shops at Columbus Circle, just south of Central Park, and I managed Hudson Yards, the entire campus of. So luxury retail and creating a special customer experience is certainly in my wheelhouse. I've been in this industry, I hate to actually say how long, but a little over 20 years. And I'm really, really proud of the work that we've done at Dania Point to date, but I'm hyper excited about the work that we've got yet to come. This year is going to be a really special one for the property, myself and my team, and we've got some great new retailers that are joining, and more importantly, we've got some great new community initiatives that we're going to be unfurling in the next couple of months. I just really want to reiterate how grateful we are for the partnership. It has been really, really a warm welcome, not only from all of you this evening, but just from the citizens and the constituents of Dania Beach as they visit us. I walk the property on a daily basis, and I feel like I'm home already, so it's really special to me, and I thank you all.
Thank you, Meredith. Well, welcome to Dania Beach. We look forward to our relationship, and yeah, you got a great team behind you. Emily's great. She's been working with the city for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah.
And it's been spectacular, so we look forward to continued relationship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, item 3.2. This is a presentation to Tammy James, our Community Development Department, and this is a service award. This is sponsored by her daughter, Commissioner Tamara James.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I don't really do a lot of, sorry, it's a little gnat up here, recognitions for employees, but I thought this would be a special one, not just because she's served the community and the Community Development Department for 21 years, and since I was 18, because she was a driving force that helped to create the SPO department. And speaking of Dania Point, she has CO'd almost every building, if not every building that has come through Dania Point, and has had a trailer on the site. I've received numerous emails that go out that have sang her praises. She does everything beyond the hours of operation. I know this because she is my mother. She brings her work home with her, and she allows the city to stress her out, unfortunately, but she absolutely loves her job, and she has made an incredible difference in so many of, even just the small business owners. Before there was an SPO department, a lot of the residents, you know, there's no such thing as going to Publix or anyone else thinking that she is off the clock, and because she's always servicing the community. And so I just wanted to thank her for her 21 years of leadership and service here to the city of Dania Beach. It is absolutely my honor to present her with it. She's always here with a smile on her face, and even through her frustration and adversity, she has continued to remain professional and service that SPO department. And so I'm going to go down there and get her award. If you wanted to say something? No, you can't see? Because you got real close.
People that see me, they're upset.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to go down. I'm not sure if you all want to come down for a photo afterwards, but I'm going to go down and present her with the award. And thank you to Maxine for your assistance in getting this This is heavy. This is a weapon. Beautiful award, too.
Is it
Beautiful
heavy?
mommy. Yes. It says, Tammy James, in recognition of your invaluable service and support to the Dania Beach Community Development Department for 21 years, February 2024.
Thank you. Do I have to like say my address and stuff like that? Well, okay, my name is Tammy James. My name is Tammy James, and yes, I've been here at the city of Dania Beach for 21 years. I did not think that this was going to be about working here at the city of Dania Beach. I thought more about my leadership and stuff that I do here in the community. That's more important to me. I love feeding the hungry and the needy. I do a lot of work once I'm off work. I work with the community a lot. We serve people. I'm the president of the Northwest Bird Point Civic Association. I'm also the president of the Juneteenth here in Dania Beach, and I'm also the president of the MLK Renaissance. I'm also the vice president for the Tamara James Foundation, and I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I have three girls, and I have a grandson. And I'm a very emotional person. I have great leadership here working at the city of Dania Beach. Ms. Garcia and Candido, I've seen you guys come to the city of Dania Beach running. You guys done more here to the city of Dania Beach than I've ever seen happen here while I've been here to the city of Dania Beach. And I say congratulations to you guys. And my mayor, you're doing a great job. Vice Mayor and the commission, I really thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I also, my director, her name is Eleanor. She's a great boss and helped me along the way. But my Tamara James, you will always be my baby girl. That's my middle busy little baby girl. And she's always going to be my baby girl. And I thank you guys so much. Don't tell me to be quiet. And I thank you guys so much. Love y'all. Happy Valentine's Day.
Hold on, Tammy.
Tammy,
Commissioner?
it's okay. It's okay. Sorry.
Y'all would drop it.
Tammy,
Yes.
I wanted to say something.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You know, I've been here in Dania all my life, and I've seen how much you've done for the city, how hard you work for the foundation, how hard you've worked for all the organizations that you participate in. I know you work very, very hard. I know the city has appreciated the work you've done, specifically at Dania Point, because I know, as we all know, how much you've helped them move along, and that project is done very, very well. And I'm sure that you had a major impact on helping them with their permitting and stuff like that. So you are a very, very valuable employee, and I want to thank you for all the years you did Dania.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll say one thing. Long before I was on this commission, when I didn't know anybody here, I probably knew Marco a little bit. When I would come here for business or various reasons, I knew Tammy James, and you were always a friendly face. You're always very helpful. I would go to you for help, like in the water department, and you would direct me in the right direction. So I'm sure it's something you didn't really know, but you're one of the first staff members that I ever got to really know in Dania Beach, over 10 years ago. And it's been a pleasure, and it's been a pleasure seeing you work now that I'm commissioner up here. So it's been a real pleasure.
You need to stay around and guide him still.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
The box.
It's bugs. Oh. Thank you.
Okay. Now for item 3.3, this is a presentation of Mark Aptekin from Mad Arts. This is sponsored by Commissioner James.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mark has, again, another business that has hit the ground and he's been running and he has been a great partner to the city and to many organizations in our community. And, recently he partnered with the MLK Renaissance Corporation to host our annual MLK festivities at Mad Arts. He continues to break barriers and provide innovative and creative ways to express art. Very, very shocked and surprised with the cube and all it did. And then also, as a commissioner, wanted to thank you for what you've done for Dania at the Dark and bringing the arts here. And I know that the only way is up from here. It's just incredible. I wish I could have been here to kind of see everything. I saw all of the infrastructure, happening, but unfortunately wasn't able to enjoy the event. But I look forward to your continued support here as we are turning this into an arts and entertainment district. And I think that you are one of the anchors of businesses that can lead us in Ignite Broward and everything else that we do that involves the arts. So I wanted to also present him with an award. This is heavy too. And thanks to Maxine for helping me with, I was like, we have to get something that's artsy. So, yeah. And it reads, with thanks and appreciation for your partnership with the City of Dania Beach and the MLK Renaissance Corp, dated February 2024. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, just kidding. We'll make it work. You don't want to get it? No, it's okay. No, there's so much. Get up there. Zoom it out. There we go. Big smiles. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. Hold the smile. Hold on. There you go. Hold the smile, guys. Thank you. Congratulations.
I want to thank everybody that honestly has been very supportive of everything we've been doing since we moved in 2020. Tammy and her mom were some of the first people that I was introduced to from the previous owners of the building, and I've been happy to get involved with a lot of the things they were doing and other things that have come about within Dania Beach, and super happy to be here. I think the city's going through something really special, and I'm proud to be part of it. After Ignite, we opened the museum in the building full time, so that's going to be open forever, hopefully. And anytime anybody wants to come, we welcome them. So, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I just want to throw out there to Mark. I know I saw you in Fort Lauderdale at the Ignite kickoff. Yeah. And I have to say, we were all making comments that the Dania Beach exhibits were so much better than the others. So you did a great job. So thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Been hearing nothing but great things about you. All right. Next, item 3.4. This is the introduction of Ernesto Maranja, public artist for our parking garage wall. And this is community development.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I want to take a quick moment to introduce the final artist that was selected at the last commission meeting for the parking garage mural, Ernesto Maranja. I did share the commission's suggestions from the last meeting with him, and he does have a revision to show to you.
My name's Hillary Moranhe. This is my husband, Ernesto Moranhe. We'll just go through the updated design. So thank you all for the selection. We're super excited.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry. So thank you all so much. We're super excited. Thank you. This is Ernesto's design. So it's the same design. He just added that alligator in the lower left-hand side with the logo above. And it features, the local South Florida flora and fauna as originally presented.
Well, thank you all for allowing me.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
What kind of cat is that?
Oh, that's a panther.
It is a panther.
Yes, correct.
I thought they were dark.
No, the
Okay,
yeah,
that's wonderful because
Oh, thank you.
I just guess I've never seen one before.
Yeah, no, the one we have here is it's
Huh?
brown like that.
I don't want. Yeah, well, they don't. Okay, well, it's in a jersey. I can't tell the difference. All right, quit picking on me.
Anything else, Commissioner? That was it?
No, I think it's beautiful.
Yes. Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you. I did want to make sure that we talked about creating a little bit more of a Dania Beach sense of place. And so is that just the logo that was added and that's it? Or what made it more closely related to Dania Beach?
Yeah, I think the only additional thing we added was the logo, but the birds and flora are all South Florida native. So you can find a lot of these birds in Dania and the flora as well. But if there's something particular that you wanted to see, we could adjust.
Well, I know that one of the board members was talking about the water aspect of it and making it more less swampy and more beachy. But I just I have to put on the record, the mural is absolutely beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. I will not say that. My only concern, and this is just because I'm an aesthetics person and looking at it, I have to be honest in saying that when I see it, I don't necessarily see Dania Beach. It just could be, it could be anywhere, and it could be in, so that was my only thing. I mean, the logo is there, but it's a really large space to be able to create that sense of place. And so, not that it's not a stunningly gorgeous mural, but for me, the sense of place as far as, recognizing Dania Beach other than the logo isn't there. And so I have to put that on the record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner James?
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to go on record saying that I love it. It's beautiful. I get what Commissioner Davis is saying. I think this is more of a South Florida type of mural. And I think that there's opportunities for different murals everywhere. And so I'm okay with it. And I'm not sure if the mayor's looking for a motion, but if you are,
Go ahead.
all right, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 3.4.
All right, I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second from Vice Mayor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, one opposed. Okay, motion passes.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, guys. Looking forward to it. When are you going to start? Yeah,
We haven't gotten that far, but hopefully soon.
hopefully soon. Okay, great. We look forward to staying updated with you.
5 weeks? 6 weeks?
I think we said 5 weeks to complete it once we start.
Yeah, once they start, it'll take a 5 weeks till completion.
Oh, wow.
So we'll let you know once that gets. the
That's
ball
rather
gets
quick.
rolling. Yeah,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, moving right along. Item 3.5 is the NCL Service Line Warranty Program. This is public services.
Good evening, everyone. Fernando Rodriguez, Public Services Director, 5701 Collins. I'm just kidding. That's not even Dania Beach. I don't know what I'm doing. So this is going to be a very, very exciting program that Ashley Shivani will go over with you. It's called the NCL Service Line Warranty Program. Basically, it gives the residents a chance to join in and basically have a warranty purchase for external water lines and external sewer lines, as well as in-house plumbing systems. I'm not going to take Ashley's Thunder. Basically, I could say that it's a wonderful program. I think you'll be interested in seeing that presentation. And they are in partnership with the National League of Cities. And there's over 30 cities that already joined, including Pompano Beach, Hallandale Beach, and several others in Broward and Dade, like Miami Springs, Opa-locka. So I'll let Shirley take it away. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you, City Commission, for having me here this evening. My name's Ashley Shaworski, and I do represent the National League of Cities Service Line Program. Our program, it is the only one that's endorsed by the National League of Cities, but the company I do work for is called HomeServe, and we administer the program. And we have been partnered with the National League of Cities since 2010 and providing this service since 2003. But really what our program is designed to do is to help address the public policy issue of aging infrastructure. Thank you. We all know that cities like yours are doing their best all across the U.S. to either upgrade or maintain their public infrastructure, but the homeowners portion of these lines were kind of being forgotten about. Not on purpose, but we know there's only so much that you can actually do on that resident side of that line or force a homeowner to do. So that's really why the National League of Cities went out and did research. They wanted to make a program like this readily and easily available to cities and towns all across the U.S. So they went out, did the research on your behalf, and we were the company they chose to provide the program. So what we actually do is we partner with cities in order to make our completely optional program available to your homeowners. And we provide your residents with optional protection on their external water or well lines, sewer or septic lines, as well as their in-home plumbing. And there is absolutely no cost to the city if you choose to participate in our program. And the city does receive an incremental revenue stream for their participation. What I, though, always think is the best benefit of this program is that it really helps to raise awareness. Pretty much every city that I speak with across the country, I do hear that same type of thing, that if a resident does have some type of issue on one of their external lines, a lot of times their first call is to someone here. And then you all are either left using the city's time and dollars to send someone out and investigate, or just being that bearer of bad news, explaining to one of your residents at the worst time possible that these lines are not covered by the city or typically their homeowner's insurance. So that's kind of why I think of this program as a free public awareness campaign, because all of your residents would receive a letter in the mail from us, and the beginning of that letter is educational. So that way, if they don't enroll in the protection, at least in the future, you know, they're well aware of exactly what their service line responsibility is, and just you as the city really did try to take that proactive approach at helping to educate them of that. Also, a huge benefit of this program is the peace of mind, because now your residents know for just a few dollars a month, they are able to transfer the risk of these lines onto us, a company that is endorsed by the National League of Cities. And then if they were to have an issue, they just make a quick call to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And we dispatch a local licensed plumber or contractor to do the repair. So that is a huge benefit of our program, is that we would only use local area plumbers to do all of our work. And we do that for a lot of reasons. Mainly we want to keep as much money here within your local economy as possible, but also your local plumbers would be familiar with your city's local codes and make sure to do the work up to our standards and yours, which includes to get all of the proper permits for the repairs. And what would happen is if we partnered with Dania Beach, we would actually develop a contractor network to serve your residents' claims. And the group here could be as much or as little involved in that process as they'd like to be, where some of our partners actually will give us a list of local area plumbers that you're already working with or familiar with, and some want to stay out of it. Either way works for us. But with all of our plumbers, we do go through a vetting process, not only verifying are they from the local area, but we make sure they meet your licensing requirements, they have proper insurance. But we also conduct background checks and drug screenings because we just want to make sure it's someone your homeowners always feel comfortable with coming to their home and inside of their home. And as for the important thing, what our program covers, we do offer 3 completely separate involuntary options. So really by partnering with us, the city is just making these available to the homeowners here, but it's always up to them if they choose to enroll, what products that they choose to enroll into. But we offer, as I mentioned, an external water line coverage, external sewer line coverage, and an in-home plumbing. The first two that I am just going to talk about are the external options because they're set up almost identically, where we begin to cover those lines wherever they become your resident's responsibility, all the way to where they enter their home. So that way, if a resident was having an issue, whether it's a broken, a cracked, a leaking pipe, a tree root issue, a clog, really anything that is impeding the flow of their lines, all they have to do is make one quick call to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We'll send out one of those local plumbers. They'll go to their house to see what's going on and repair or replace the line as needed. What's nice about our program is that homeowner does receive up to $8,500 towards each and every repair incident. That does include street repair, sidewalk repair, all permitting costs that may be associated with that repair, and we never have any type of service fee or deductible. Because we don't want that to stop any resident from actually giving us a call and getting their issues taken care of. And in addition to these two external options, a homeowner could also enroll into our in-home plumbing coverage. And this was really kind of developed by request of our municipal partners, as it was that missing piece of the puzzle. And this covers the water, sewer, or drain lines in the resident's home after the point of entry that could be broken or leaking. It also includes lines embedded under their slab or basement floor and repair of clogged toilets. And this is similar again, where there's never a service fee or deductible, no annual or lifetime limit, no limit on number of claims they can have. And with the in-home, the resident receives up to $3,000 towards each and every repair incident. And we really do come to find that when someone enrolls in any of these protections, they are a little bit more proactive about getting their issues taken care of, because we know a lot of times a resident is nervous to call a plumber because they don't know how much it's going to cost for them out of pocket, or they can't find someone to come to their house in a timely fashion, but now they know the cost of determining their issue and getting it taken care of isn't coming out of their pocket. And then, as I did mention at the very beginning, a feature of our program is the revenue stream for the city. So as I mentioned, the program is absolutely no cost for the city to participate, and the city does receive 10% of the premiums collected back in the form of a revenue every year. And a lot of our partners do different things with this. Obviously, you all could do anything that you like, and some put it into the general fund. But we also have a lot of partners that will use it to help residents that may be having trouble paying a utility bill from month to month. We always know that everyone's looking for any funding for infrastructure upgrades, so a lot of people will use it for that, or just different social services programs in the community. It's really however you see fit. And lastly, I know the big thing everyone wants to know is what is the city's involvement in the program. So the way that we get the word out about the program is through direct mail. So you don't have to worry about us calling door to door, anything like that. We typically send a letter out to your homeowners 2 to 3 times a year. The agreement that we enter into with the city says no more than 3 times per year. But your real involvement is before we send anything out, we actually customize that specifically for Dania Beach. We work with you on edits and changes that you would like to see. And then once we get the approval, we let you know the dates that we would mail those out. That way everyone here is well aware of that. And if we do not get the approval, we do not mail. So the city's always in complete control on if and when something does go out. To kind of give you an idea of what that looks like, the beginning, as I mentioned previously, is really that educational piece, letting a resident know which portion of the lines are their responsibility. It has a diagram and frequently asked questions, but it is an introductory letter where the city helps to introduce the program to its homeowners, but it always states we are a separate company and it's 100% optional. It does include the city's logo or letterhead so your residents know this is a program that you're making available to them. But on that is all of our information. Our logo, our phone number is the only number listed on there, so they call us with questions or to enroll. Same thing with our website. They can get a lot of great information on there or sign up through the website or return the letter in the mail directly to us. We know you have more than enough going on here, so we do handle all the aspects of the program. We do the marketing, billing, claims, and customer service. I always just kind of think you're giving their homeowners here an option that they otherwise would not have. And we do have over 1,200 municipal partners all across the U.S. And have saved homeowners over $2 billion in repair costs in just the last 3 years. And we do have 29 in the state of Florida, and here's the list of them. And I know I've rambled on to you this evening, so I'm sure you also may have some questions for me as well.
Commissioner James?
Yes, thank you. I do think this is a great program. I do have a question. When you say affordable rates and a few dollars a month, what does that look like?
Sure. So our pricing, if a resident enrolls in our external water line coverage, it's $5.75 per month. If they enroll on our external sewer line coverage, it's $7.75 per month. And our in-home plumbing is $9.99 per month. Again, they're all separate, all optional. A homeowner can pay us a lot of ways. Some like to pay annually just to get it over with and forget about it, but they can do month to month, quarterly. They can send us checks. They can have it automatically withdrawn from a credit card or checking account, but no matter how they pay it is month to month. So someone signs up for a year and say, you know, a month in, I don't want this anymore. They just call us and they would receive a refund for any unused premium.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know some of these utility companies like Teco, they send you out a notification where you can enroll in their water line protection as well as their gas line protection. So how is this different from that? Is it's not private, correct?
So I'm not sure what
Oh,
their
okay.
coverage looks like. I'd say the big difference is through our program is only available through some type of municipal or utility partnership.
Okay.
And the reason why we do that is because we set up our terms to cover whatever your resident's responsibility is for those lines. Also, through the partnership, we obviously reach a greater amount of residents, but that in turn allows us to keep the cost as low as possible for your homeowners, but also we get those local area plumbers ready to take those jobs, and because they're getting a higher volume, a lot of times they give us a better rate, which allows us to keep that cost down for your residents. But it could be similar to what is offered through.
No, I understand, but it makes residents feel more comfortable too.
Correct.
Which, yeah, because it's partnering with the municipality. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So let me get this straight. So if I took out a plumbing for $9 a month and I have a plumbing problem, it's like a clogged sink or something like that, they're gonna send a plumber out at no charge?
No service fee or deductible. Your in-home plumbing is up to $3,000.
Up to 3,000. So basically, it's almost like getting a Groupon. It's interesting because, I mean, realistically, the three numbers you quoted out there is $20, you know, and for $20 a month or a couple of dollars a year, they're having three decent services. Most, you know, don't need all of them, but the plumbing it's interesting because everybody gets a clog in a toilet or a sink or something like that. I think, you know, I mean, offering like a little insurance policy for that, I think it's a pretty good option for people to at least have an option. If it doesn't cost the city anything, I think it's a great option as long as your you know credibility is there with the leagues of cities. So I don't see any issue with it. I'd move forward to I'd make a motion to.
Well,
accept.
we're putting it on the next agenda. We
Okay.
Didn't want to hit you with it tonight
Yeah,
and then
okay.
ask you to
All right,
vote
that's
on
good.
it.
Okay.
So it'll be on the next agenda. And we did do our due diligence, and part of the agreement will say, like, if services is bad
Okay.
or if they don't have good customer service, we can terminate our affiliation and withdraw
Right.
our
Okay.
sponsorship, quote unquote.
Yeah, but, let her do it.
You're good? Commissioner James?
Yes, I know that you were gonna put it on the next agenda, but it's already on here. We can't just vote on it now?
The contract is not before you, and it's not a listed item for action.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Davis? All right, great. Well, we look forward to the agreement, and we'll iron it out with Eve. Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much
the
for
next
having
meeting.
me.
Thank you. Okay, next is the beach bathroom update, item 3.6, with our Deputy City Manager, Candido Sosa Cruz.
Yes, good evening, residents, mayor, vice mayor, commissioners, city manager, city attorney, city clerk, and city team. My name is Candido Sosa Cruz, and tonight I'm going to be providing an update on the beach bathroom. As you can remember, the previous storms and king tide have affected our beach bathroom in a negative way. As you can see from the four pictures up top, the first one is the beach erosion, pretty much removing all the sand underneath the beach bathroom, exposing the pylons, the concrete pylons. You could see the rebar. You could also see the plumbing, the septic lines, the water lines, pretty much closing or not allowing our residents or visitors to utilize the bathroom. On top of that, Broward County Environmental Department visited the city and inspected the bathroom, and notified us that the current condition, the current placement of the bathroom could become an environment hazard if something was to happen to the bathroom, to the sewer lines, impacting the beach and the environment. They made a strong recommendation to us to move the location of the bathroom to a location that's higher ground and that's away from the water and from the current environment where there's turtles and other sea animals. This is the current view, the west side view of the bathroom. As everyone knows, the bathroom is currently closed. The sewer lines are capped, the water line is capped, the electric is off. In order to determine the exact location, we're going to be proposing a location tonight, and also to make some adjustments to this facility so it could still have some utility to it. This is a rendering showing a conversion of the beach bathroom to storage. If I could go back here. If you could see the third door, which is a roll down door, that's a storage for our public services department. In the new rendering, we would be utilizing the two bathrooms, which are the first two doors, as one, the beach lifeguard storage, and the second one as the beach ranger storage. Right now, both of those divisions are utilizing a small storage area by the FAU facility, and they have to trek across the parking lot all the way to the beach with their ATVs or any of their life rescue or other operational equipment. Having a storage facility right on the beach would be convenient, not just to the lifeguards, but to the beach rangers, and it would be stored in a safe and secured manner. Also, you could see, if I could go back, the left and the right side of the facility is open, allowing the water, the sand, to enter into the parking lot, continuing to damage our parking lot, the vehicles and other equipment. In the new rendering, we would be extending the sand dunes all the way across up to the facility, up to the concrete walls. Additionally, we will be building a walking overpass similar to what we have on the beach for visitors and residents to go across over the sand dunes onto the beach. If you can see here, this would be the proposed location, which is the red box with a number 1 on it. It's kind of like where we have the circle, the roundabout, and near the storage, the quarterdeck storage and the quarterdeck dumpster. It's an elevated ground area. It's behind a kind of like a wall and a sidewalk. This is the area right here. It would be closer to this side, so it would take up this area here. It would be away from the water. It would be elevated, and it would have near proximity to sewer and water lines. This is a conceptual rendering of what the restroom would look. It would blend in with the environment. As you could see, it's elevated. The stairs are going up. There's a platform. And again, it's just a conceptual rendering of what the consultant came up with when they walked it. It would be secure, it's concrete. It would be able to withstand Category 5 winds, and the water will not penetrate inside. That's it. If there's any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you, Candido.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Salvino?
Hi, Candido.
Sir?
You know, I went down and looked at that, and you know that we've had issues for many, many years with every time we put sand on the beach, it gets eroded away. And you know, and I hear you on the other stuff that's going on, you know, like storage areas and stuff like that. It's not really to challenge you, you know, in your decision. I've always supported staff on what they want to do. I just would like to clarify a couple things as far as my thought process on it. You start talking about, you know, this next building, Category 5, and you know the concrete walls. I'm just not sure why, unless it's just not feasible for you to do it, why you can't dig down 5 or 6 feet and put a wall around the building that's there, and continue to put a wall like we do around other construction sites to keep water from coming into it, and repairing it to make it not undermine the building again, and to be able to utilize the restrooms that are closest to the beach. I do realize that we have the quarterdeck restaurant there, we have the bathrooms at the marina, and with Lucky Fish coming, we'll have some more bathrooms there too. But I was just curious to know why did we ever consider that at all?
Yes, that's a good question, Commissioner Salvino. As a matter of fact, I forgot to mention that we are doing that. We will be doing a seawall type of structure that's gonna go approximately 3 to 5 feet down, surrounding the building to protect it from further deterioration, along with having breakaway walls underneath the sand dune up to the facility, again, so that water or that sand that comes in, it could hold it up. The reason that we recommend, we're proposing to move the restroom is because the amount of storms, king tides, winds are increasing in frequency. And in communicating with the Chief Resilient Officer of Broward County, Dr. Jurado, who's a national expert, this is the new trend. And in order to prevent a catastrophe of damaging the environment, we believe a new location that's elevated, higher ground, stronger facility will be safer for the environment, and it will last longer, next 100 years, let's say, for everyone to enjoy. Remember, there's also a restroom right in the middle of the Ocean Park complex. It's not just quarterdeck restroom or Lucky Fish. We just renovated a brand-new restroom that's by the marina, which is right smack in the middle of our whole beach complex. Also consider that we are working with the quarterdeck to install 3 kiosks in that sand area, and one of the major concerns was a lot of people are going to be congregating, having drinks, smoothies, beach chairs, they're going to be playing games, and there's no restroom in that area. And our main concern was people might be using the restroom outdoors, which was a major concern to us because there was nowhere to go other than all the way south to the restrooms.
Okay. You know, the reason I just questioned about putting that back together and so on is I know that prior to this project change many years back, I think I was first up as a mayor, we had some issues come up about the sewer, you know, from Broward County and so on. And it seemed like the repair on it or trying to move it or add another bathroom on the beach became a real problem, and it never got resolved. And so I mean, again, you know, when you're talking about building this, are you going to run into a resistance of putting, you know, that on the beach again?
Well, again, we're working closely with the Broward County Environmental Department. They're the ones advising us. We told them what our remedy is, what our solution. They support it.
Okay.
Because their main concern is getting the bathroom and the sewer lines out of the beach.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you have it under control, Kenya. You always do good work. I just was, you know, questioning some of those things, but whatever the staff, you know, recommends, I'm sure I would be happy with.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Salvino. Commissioner James?
Yes, so you've answered a lot of my questions. And this isn't a question of if I like the restroom. I don't like the location only because it's near the dumpster. And I see a lot of rodents at night or in the area. Obviously, it's a dumpster for the quarterdeck. And when the dumpster was closer to the actual quarterdeck building, it was really out of control. I just, maybe we can get with, I don't know who, to ensure that we have that problem under control. I would hate to have, I mean, and then we have a lot of wildlife that comes out at night.
Get some cats down there.
No, I'm talking about like raccoons or possums or those types of things that come out of the garbages and things of that nature. And so that would be my only ask for this. I do think that I love the rendering. I love that it's elevated. And I love that we have more options for restrooms and they're not porta potties. And so I am in favor of it. Just please, the rodent issue, if we can look at that.
Thank you, Commissioner. And one of the good thing is with this location will kind of conceal the dumpsters being viewed from the street and from when visitors and residents are walking that sidewalk area. Since it's going to be elevated directly in front of it, it will conceal it, and the entrance is on the other side. so the people going into the restroom will not be able to see what's
So I
behind
won't
it.
see the rats.
Well, the rats, we're gonna tackle the rats. They won't see the dumpsters.
Commissioner, if I
Yeah,
if
it's
I may,
already enclosed. I believe it's already
It is.
enclosed.
I think key is ensuring, and we'll meet with the quarter deck as we've been throughout this process, is ensuring the maintenance of those dumpsters, how sealed they are, and maybe we could go ahead and do an inspection to make sure that they don't have holes. How often are they cleaned and how are they maintained?
That's good. We have a
Okay.
great relationship with the quarter deck.
Yes.
We're, like I said, we're working with them in the 3 kiosks, so I'm sure they will address the rodents.
And then those sewer lines, how is that? Are we gonna run into the same issue that we kind of run into the lines with the cables of the elevator? That's always messed up because of the saltwater intrusion?
The sewer lines?
I mean,
Sewer lines?
I
Will
mean,
be
okay.
plastic, it's PVC pipes, so we don't foresee any type of, and it's clearly away from the salt water,
Okay,
so it definitely will be in a safer environment where it's not going to be impacted, such as anything near the water.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Candido, for this presentation. I was worried and sitting on pins and needles, but I'm very, very glad that you have been talking to Dr. Fajardo and found a way to salvage the building and to repurpose it. And I really want to thank you for that because it has become a piece of public art on the beach and one of the only ones in Broward County. Those 3 doors that we talked about, one is going to be for the beach rangers, one for the lifeguard, and then the third one, that's the garage, is
Which-
still be for the
Which
public
is the,
services.
which is the current one, we'll just retrofit it with the new matching, the roll down door.
Okay,
Correct.
and will they all be uniform that way? That's how
exactly.
they're gonna
Yes.
all look with the new one? Okay, very good. And then for the new bathroom, it's harder for me to see on the maps, but it looks like, I know it's by the dumpster, but, are we taking away a lot of that vegetation in that area
We're-
where?
We're going to remove some, but then we're going to add some as well. So there's going to be pretty much the equivalent of what's currently there.
Okay, because I do like the natural look
Absolutely.
of that area, and so we just want to maintain that natural feel. Okay, thank you so much, appreciate it.
You're welcome. So if everyone agrees, we just want to get consensus to be able to move forward, contract out a design, so we could bring it back, get approval.
Okay, we have consensus.
Thank you, sir.
Wonderful. All right, up next is item 3.7. This is a special event request for the 47th Annual Broward County Waterway Beach Cleanup. This is Parks and Recreation item.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Broward County has reached out to us and has been working closely with Cassie and Ashley from our Parks and Recreation Department. And basically, they have seen the program that has been in place that Commissioner Davis brought forward in regards to the beach cleanup. They want to augment that and clean some of our waterways, the marina, the pier. So it's a great partnership and really augments what we're doing and gives us an additional day that we can work with our partners in Broward County to clean the area of the water, the marina, and the pier. It's been run through all the departments, and we ask for your support and approval this evening. Thank you.
Commissioner James?
Make a motion to approve 3.7.
Motion to approve, second by Vice Mayor Llewellyn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Item passes unanimously. On to special event request. This is Tri-Rail's Rail Fun Day. Another Parks and Rec.
I make a motion.
This is another great partnership that Parks and Recreation is working with the rest of the departments. Everybody has approved it. It's a win-win. It costs the city nothing, and it's a tremendous benefit, and we ask for your support and approval. Thank you.
Sorry, Mayor, I was trying to make a motion. The prior one. Yeah, I make a motion for 3.8 to
Motion,
approve.
second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, item 3.9, Mr. Green Fruit and Vegetable Stand. This is a fee waiver. This is another Parks and Rec item.
Yes, thank you. We're working very closely with local initiatives that are win-win to our local residents, local business people. And Mr. Green Fruits and Vegetable Stand is an individual who has been working with us, and he has asked if we can waive the fee. And we recommend it because this is a very, very small business that provides a service, and we ask for your support, and we have support from all the rest of the city departments. Thank you.
Commissioner James?
Is this the same location? Is it the same location that it?
Yes, it is the same. Yes.
Because I think we need to go back and double check if he's still going to be there. I haven't seen him there in a number of weeks, and then I did hear that he moved to a different location. Okay, that's what I'm asking, if it was the same. If it's on the same property of the church, I think we would need, I would make a motion to approve it, but I think we need to double check with that church that they are giving him authorization to be there. I did hear some different things, and so I want to be clear. I don't want us to approve something and then it's different from the property owner.
No, and we will make sure that is not a different location, and that this location is aligned with the support of that property.
Yeah.
All right. And then so I'll make a tentative motion to approve 3.9.
Second.
Second.
All right, motion second from Vice Mayor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Salvino, you just gotta press the button. Okay. Item 3.10 is my item. This is a retroactive approval of the proclamation for Four Chaplains Day, which was 1/28/24. Four Chaplains Day is officially 2/3, but we always do it on a Sunday, usually right before. It was a lovely event. It was at Nova Southeastern University. We had the National Commander of the American Legion come out, and Post 304 and Post 209 are very gracious for the commission and the city's support. So just look for retroactive approval. Do I have that? All right, we have retroactive approval. Thank you. Okay, up next, we're going to go to our proclamations. And I have a proclamation, and Commissioner Davis has a proclamation. So I'll start with my proclamation first. This is for American Heart Month. So this is a proclamation of the Office of the Mayor, City of Dania Beach, Florida, whereas heart disease occurs when the arteries leading to the heart become clogged, and although heart disease has been around for thousands of years, we do not know that many aspects of modern life exacerbate risk factors and make people more prone to heart disease and heart failure. And whereas heart disease is the leading cause of death for men, women, and people of most racial and ethnic groups in the United States. About 695,000 people in the United States died from heart disease in 2021. That's 1 in every 5 deaths. And whereas heart disease affects all ages, genders, and ethnicities, risk factors include high cholesterol, high blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, and excessive alcohol use. And whereas 83% of Americans believe that heart attacks can be prevented, but aren't motivated to do anything, while 72% of Americans don't consider themselves at risk for heart disease, and 58% put no effort into improving their heart health. And whereas the good news is in most cases, heart disease is preventable when people adopt a healthy lifestyle, which includes not smoking, maintaining healthy weight, controlling blood sugar and cholesterol, treating high blood pressure, getting at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity a week, and getting regular checkups. And whereas American Heart Month is observed to raise awareness on the importance of a healthy heart and to encourage healthy habits that help reduce the risk of heart disease. The warning signs for heart disease have been known to appear when people are as young as 18 years old. Red flags such as high blood pressure should be taken seriously, and healthy habits should be adopted, like getting 30 minutes of exercise every day and taking with your doctor to develop healthy eating habits that promote heart health. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City of Dania Beach Commission, I, Archibald John Ryan IV, Mayor of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2024 as American Heart Month in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, and I encourage all of our residents on this day, before Valentine's Day, to take care of their hearts. That was nice, Maxine. If that was you, I like that. Okay, American Heart Month. Next, we have a proclamation, and this is by Commissioner Joyce L. Davis on Black History Month. Let me turn you on. There you go.
There we go. Happy Black History Month, everyone. Whereas Black History Month is national observance celebrating the contributions of African American people in their struggles for freedom and equality and their part in the development of our nation's history. And whereas in 1926, Dr. Carter Goodwin Woodson, noted Black scholar and son of former enslaved individuals, initiated the celebration of Negro History Week, which corresponded with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln, and in 1976, the celebration was expanded into the entire month of February. And whereas Black History Month, we recognize the many contributions and achievements made by Black Americans to the city of Dania Beach and to the United States economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas the theme for 2024 is African Americans and the arts, this theme acknowledges the many impacts Black Americans have had on visual arts, music, cultural movements, and more. Whereas African American artists have used art to preserve history and for empowerment, and in celebrating African American arts, we acknowledge the richness of the contributions of Black artists. And whereas the city of Dania Beach honors its two currently serving African American elected officials, Commissioner Joyce L. Davis, a PhD candidate in human services who founded the first research-based girl bullying program in Dania Beach, and Commissioner Tamara James, the youngest mayor elected to the city of Dania Beach and previously a professional athlete. And whereas we recognize that Black history is American history, not only during the month of February, but throughout the year. It is important that we know our history to beneficially meet the challenges of now into the future. Now, therefore, on the behalf of the city of Dania Beach and Mayor Archibald J. Ryan IV, Mayor of the City of Dania Beach, do hereby proclaim Black History Month, February 2024, as Black History Month in the City of Dania Beach, and we encourage all citizens of Dania Beach to recommit themselves to the ideal America where equality and justice will always prevail, and to the principles of love, wisdom, compassion toward one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. All right, moving on. Item 5.1 with our administrative reports. This is from Madam Manager Garcia.
Good evening and thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, city team, residents that are here with us tonight, and residents that are watching at home. Very, very exciting this past weekend. The Dania After Dark event, the dinner at the hall. Thank you for all of you for being there. It was sold out. It was a sold out event, and we had an opportunity to meet old residents that have been living here in the city for a very long time, like, you know, former mayor, new residents that have moved just recently to our city, residents and neighbors from the city of Hollywood that were there with us as the mayor and I walked around table to table. And folks that were just very excited. I wanted to thank our Parks and Recreation Department, Cassie, Ashley, and our Communications Division, who worked together to really put the event out there. And all the staff that was there, I know Maxine was there, and everybody really had, Joanna Garnett was there. Everybody really had a great time, and it was a very, very unique event. So thank you for that. The tickets for the Dania After Dark edition of our wine and seafood festival are selling quickly. I already bought my ticket. This event is scheduled for March 9th. It's a free event. The tickets are so you can have unlimited wine and beer. I will be staying overnight in the city, just so you know, or Ubering. But we're very, very excited. We have over 20 different wines. We have 6 breweries, 20 different food trucks. So this proves to be a very exciting event. And this is going to take place Saturday, March 9th from 4 to 9 p.m. So thank you so much, Parks and Recreation, the rest of the team that's working to put this event together. As we mentioned at the last meeting, our special events division is working very closely as we move forward to augment and enhance our partnerships with the MLK Renaissance Corporation, Mad Arts, the Vintage Motorcycle Show, the Four Chaplains event. We want to extend what we're doing with special events to better embrace our local community events and all those individuals that are basically volunteers. So we look forward to a series of events that are going to take place next year that we can certainly augment and enhance. And I'll just give you a prime example. This is something that I discussed with Commissioner James as we look forward to make sure that we could do a great Martin Luther King weekend so it doesn't interfere with Dana After Dark, and the folks that work so hard to put it together could have the strong support from our city team. With the folks from the Vintage Motorcycle Show, something that I observed is long lines for the one food truck, and being able to have a food village, which is something that I discussed with Cassie, being able to have an appropriate stage and microphones, and just people that have been doing a great job in our history in our city for a very long time, and we just want to continue to help and support them, and we have a great game plan to do so. I had met several times with Commissioner James. As you know, safety is a top priority of this city commission, and they've really aligned their words with action with the funding that they give us in the budget. One of the things that we did that we want to expand to the rest of our parks is these stop signs that we have installed on Northwest First Street adjacent to C.W. Thomas Park. These flashing signs really help us in regards to ensuring that we take safety to new heights. So we're very excited. A lot of the times our elected officials go to national meetings and meetings up in the state or with the county, and they bring back great initiative. And this was a really, really good initiative. And we're really glad that we were able to install these stop signs, and we'll be installing more of these throughout our city, particularly around parks and schools. I wanted to let you know that our 120th banners are out. There will be more coming, and we're very, very excited because this year everything is going to be celebrating 120 amazing years in our city. This is just one of them. And as we bring forward the May, June, and July patriotic ones with the American flag, we will also ensure that everybody knows that we are celebrating 120 years here in our wonderful city, Broward's first city. So those are out and about. One of the things that we're planning is, and we've done it already for the second year, our first year with Mayor James, our second year with newly elected Mayor Ryan. But so you can calendar this event because you don't want to miss our State of the City that will take place October the 17th. And we're going to be focusing on 12 decades of Dania Beach that commence in the 1900s. So we're very excited about that. Meeting with our chief and our deputy chief, we have 7 new law enforcement officers that have hit the ground running. The work that Chief Tarala and Deputy Chief Cooper have been doing is amazing, working very closely with me and our Deputy City Manager. So those additional 7 law enforcement officers have really made an impact, and we have 5 more positions that we're going to fill. Chief Tarala is extremely proactive and aggressive. We're just not going to lower the bar and just hire anybody. So we're looking forward to our new class of BSO that's going to be graduating soon, but wanted to give you an update on that. On January 30th, we held our kickoff meeting with architects Charles Michelson and Jessica Weatherspoon, who worked with us on the West Wing. As we commenced the draft design for our EOC building, as you know, we were able to be very aggressive in regards to seeking and receiving funding for the feds. So we're moving forward to bring you a draft design. It's something that you all are going to be very, very proud of, and it's the city's first ever EOC building. So within a couple of months, 60 days or so, we'll be able to bring you the draft design. Friday, February the 2nd, the mayor and I were invited to participate in a roundtable discussion with newly appointed Broward Superintendent of School, Licata. not only were the mayor and I in attendance, but we were very vocal in regards to what our expectations are in regards to our local schools, because our taxpayers pay a large sum of money, let's just say, to ensure that the aesthetics and how we are teaching our children and everything that we're doing on those campuses are being done. So we look forward to ongoing dialogue and really holding them accountable in regards to how our schools look. We also discuss the game plan and the communication. We invited him to come forward and talk to us on everything having to do with our youth, any future plans that they may have, and really, being accountable and responsible. Because the reason why a lot of our kids have left our private schools to go to charters and parochial, people don't leave because a lot of these schools' parents are making a tremendous sacrifice to pay or to send them to charter schools that are further away. So we're hopeful coming from this meeting that there'll be some great changes with Dr. Licata. Our deputy city manager also attended a Broward County MPO meeting on January the 11th, and we will be updating you on the details, but we're very excited about the possibilities with teaming up with MPO. On Monday, February the 5th, we commenced the demolition of the IT Parker. The exterior has been completely demolished already. We look forward as part of the series of our 120th event to do a ribbon cutting there this fall. I know this is something that I've discussed with all of you. Our residents and our city deserves to have a place where they can have weddings, special events, baby showers, and this is going to be a premier event on the water that we can all be very, very proud of. We're also working to plan an Arbor Day. I know the mayor just reached out to Candido and I that he has received a donation of trees. I know that Fernando and Dinser were able to secure over 300 trees, Florida natives, crepe myrtles, which are flowering trees, and oak trees, which are shade trees, and we're going to be working together on a Dana Beach Arbor Day tree giveaway for all our residents in our community as we continue to enhance the environment, which is a priority of this elected body and this administration. And that concludes my report. We're busy and we're very excited, but thank you for your support and thank you to all our residents and our city team.
Thank you, Manager Garcia. Great report. Great report. A lot to look forward to. Up next, we have our city attorney, Eve Boutsis. What do you have for us?
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. I don't have a report tonight. Thank you.
All right. 5.3, City Clerk.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. February 27th, you have the City Commission workshop regarding the Form 6, which is at 6 p.m. And then following that, you have your regular City Commission meeting at 7 p.m. And that's all I have for February. Thank you.
Okay, everybody's good with those dates? All right. Next, public safety reports. We'll start with Chief Jason Terrella.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. So we have been very busy the last couple weeks on our side. So I will narrow down, I've highlighted a few, but we have been really busy. And this really is just a little snippet of the amount of arrests we've made and what we've done. So as you know, we've talked about auto thefts have been a issue in the city. And since we have put a targeted operational plan in place, I can happily say over the last 8 weeks, we've had a significant reduction in auto theft in the city. So the numbers we have seen are a significant decrease, especially on the east side of the city in our 1, 2, and 4 zones, where we saw major increases. We have been able to nip that, and we have had significantly low auto thefts in the last 8 weeks. Highlighting that, starting last week, we had another auto theft recovery arrest, our LPR, which we only have 3 at this date. So once we get fully operational with more, I can only imagine the amount of criminals that we're gonna be able to get off the streets. But the LPR trailer that we put on Federal Highway got a hit, and it was reference a 2020 Hyundai Elantra. The tag came back stolen. We were able to follow the vehicle. Once the vehicle pulled into a residence off of 80 Southwest 8th Avenue, which we know is a target location, which that area is involved in auto theft. also involved in our shooting from Hollandale, that pocket over there. So we've been targeting that neighborhood. We were able to safely place that juvenile into custody as soon as he exited the vehicle, and we were able to place him into custody for auto theft. Later that night, we actually got another stolen vehicle in that same exact location with another juvenile in custody. So that was 2 in that same night. 2 nights after that, we received another LPR hit on a stolen moped that was going down Federal Highway. One of our deputies were able to locate that moped. We were able to follow it. Once the gentleman got off of the moped, we were able to safely arrest that individual without any issues. And that gentleman was a career criminal, a career offender out of Palm Beach County with an extensive history for burglary, theft, and robbery offenses, and he was placed into custody for auto theft. 2 days ago, our LPRs, again, 1400 block of Sterling Road, got a hit on a vehicle up and down east and west. Our units went to the area, and they were able to get behind this vehicle. This was a vehicle that was used in multiple vehicles out of Palm Beach County, our LPR hit. So we automatically knew that this was a serious vehicle. We followed the vehicle. Once it pulled into a parking spot, we were able to tactfully take down the vehicle. We were able to get 3 occupants into custody. Once we got the occupants out of custody, we searched that vehicle. There was a stolen, fully loaded .40 caliber handgun that was stolen out of North Lauderdale from a burglary last year. And all 3 occupants in that vehicle are career criminals. The driver is actually the target of an ongoing auto theft in fraud ring targeting rental car companies out of Broward, Miami-Dade, Palm Beach County, and Orange County. 2 other occupants are also involved in that ring, so we are now working with the feds on that case to try to get a RICO case on that. So that was a phenomenal pop, and again, that was because of the LPRs that we were able to locate that vehicle and get those subjects into custody. We are continuing with our CST team with their proactivity in the Northwest section ever since our shooting last month. Since then, knock on wood, we have not had another one. Our CST team, from the last meeting when we were here, we had 5 firearms recovered. Since the last commission meeting until today, they recovered another 4 firearms. Highlighted by this one, our detectives viewed a subject off of 21 Northwest 10th Court. They knew that subject was wanted for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. They waited for that subject to exit his vehicle. Once they took down that subject, they were safely able to put him into custody, search incident arrest of him. They were able to find a loaded .380 caliber handgun on his person, as well as amphetamine pills, marijuana, and cocaine. And he was charged with possession of amphetamine, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a firearm under indictment for possession of a firearm, as well as possession of a concealed firearm without a permit. We are also going to ask we're asking the feds to take on that case as well. So hopefully the feds will pick up that case as well for the firearms offenses. That's a snippet of what our CST team and the LPRs have given us over the last couple of weeks, and we've had a major reduction in crime because of that. So it's amazing what the technology and the proactivity has done. Let's see what we got. Our homeless outreach team over the last 3 weeks, they have identified and removed 7 homeless encampments through our proactive patrols that they've identified working with our city to clean these encampments up. The ones that we identified were 185 North Federal, 148 North Federal, 900 block of Pippins, 501 Old Griffin Road, 701 North Federal Highway, 501 East Sheridan, 401 East Sheridan, and as well the Southwest 4 corridor, off the tracks. We're continuing to monitor every single one of those locations with the city, and as of today, every single one of those locations are still completely clear. The only one we had an issue with, a gentleman decided to come back to that location, he was arrested. And to date, over the last 3 weeks, we've made 17 arrests for trespassing to deal with the issues of trespassers. So 17 in the last 3 weeks. We're continuing our traffic enforcement off of Southwest 31st Avenue where the construction is. I know that's an issue with the city where they're doing the construction. So we've been doing mornings, our guys going out there doing construction. Doing enforcement with the construction and the vehicles coming up and down there. We're continuing that, and we're continuing with our illegal racing operation at nighttime. We know there's a group that come into the city at nighttime, so we do our best to address it and get them out of the city and push them out of the city safely. And we do our best to get them out of here as quickly as we can. When they come in, we arrest the ones we can, but most of them flee when they see us. And at that point, the public safety is number one. So we try to get them out of the city as safely as possible. And we had the privilege today, through Mayor Ryan and one of our attorneys in the city, he reached out to me and recommended a partnership between the Broward Sheriff's Office and Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And I met with that organization today, myself and Lieutenant Cooper and Detective Sessions. We met with that organization today, and it's a fantastic organization, and we are going to partner with them, and we are going to still work out the systematics of it, but as of now, it looks like they're going to bring 10 students to our station once a month for 3 hours, and a deputy will mentor that student for 3 hours every month and build a relationship with us, and that deputy will be a 1-year commitment, and they will have the same student, because that student will also give us a commitment, and it'll be a 1-year partnership between that deputy and that student for the year. So we've never done that before, so this will be a fantastic partnership between the Sheriff's Office and the youth, and they will pick the youth from, I think we're gonna do South Broward High School, but it will be a Dania Beach resident that attends South Broward High School. So they will all be Dania Beach residents. So that's what I got. A little lengthy, but that's what we got.
Awesome, Chief, awesome. I think Commissioner Salvino has something for you.
Sir.
Well, first of all, Chief, excuse me, thank you for all the hard work you and your deputies and staff have done. Your whole team is on the ball. I'm just curious, if we only have 4 of the LPRs?
So, well, this is the surprise, but we're coming, when we first got here back in 2019, there was one inoperable LPR. We've been able to get 3 with your support. We have the ones that, the partnership that we have with Dania Point.
Absolutely.
So we have a total of 5. So what we're doing, we're coming next month, our finance director is, we're proposing a mid-year budget adjustment to add what we've never done in regards to LPRs. It is pretty much an unprecedented $500,000 investment, but it's a full court press on LPRs, making us Broward First City will be Broward's safest city from a proactive perspective, and this is something that the chief and I and the deputy chief have been working for months now, and it's coming forward for your support. Because as I've said and continue to say, this group of elected officials has made safety the top priority, and we're aligning our words with action, so we are bringing that forward.
With that being said, though, with bringing in more of them, you need 5 new deputies, because I mean, the rest you've made this in 2 weeks with those.
And that's only on 3 trailers.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
And I can't imagine, because, excuse me, one thing that that does, you start placing us around the city, and people get aware of that, like we've talked before about certain, cutting off. And
absolutely.
It's just gonna stop them from coming to
The
Dania Beach.
26, we're the 26, and the city manager, public safety is number 1, and myself and the city manager, we've discussed the LPRs, and when you see what we've done already with the 3, we are going to be able to track every single entrance in and out of Dania Beach. So any entrance in and out of our city will be tracked by the LPRs. It's so much more than also just tracking cars. We're able to pinpoint crimes and pinpoint if a vehicle matches a crime that happened here, a crime happened on the west side, a crime happened in Hollywood, a crime happened here. We can pinpoint if that tag hit on the LPRs at different times. There's so much that LPR system gives us the opportunity to do, even if the car is not stolen, right? But we can pinpoint if we knew we had a burglary here, a burglary on this side 2 hours later. Well, we go back and look at the system and say, this car, this red Honda with this tag hit here.
Yep.
And then 2 hours later, it hit here. And then 2 hours later, it hit Hollywood, it had a burglary later in the day. We know that's our vehicle. It gives us a technology, and it will protect our residents in this city and give us an opportunity to catch criminals and keep this city really very protected. And like you said, the word's going to get out that this city is heavily protected with LPRs. That will serve as a deterrent as well.
Yeah, you probably get busy for a while, then after that, it'll really quiet down, won't it?
We'll hope the word will get out. Stay the heck out of Dania. If you want to commit crime, stay out of here.
Thanks a lot, Chief. I mean, you did a great job.
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you.
I want to while I have you here, and since I was discussing this earlier with Commissioner Salvino, the word's going to get out, because what I plan to do once you all approve this mid-year budget adjustment on February the 27th, I plan to schedule not just a press release, but working with Nanette, who really brings a tremendous amount of contacts with local news, CBS, Channel 10, And the print media, I plan to also plan not just a press release, but a press conference for the mayor and our elected officials, because the word will go out and we will use every measure to let everybody know that here in Dania Beach, you come over here, you're gonna get busted.
Yep. I agree. Commissioner James?
Yes, thank you. I'll start with the LPRs first. I did share with city manager several weeks ago about different ideas of what I would like them to look like. I do appreciate the big boards sometimes, but I don't want to see one on every corner. I don't want it to be, with the amazing stuff that we're doing aesthetically in our city. I know that they have some that are smaller and more discreet, and it can go on top of a traffic light. I just don't want to overwhelm the city with big.
They will not be what you
LPRs.
see now. You won't, there will be,
Okay.
they'll be very small. Most of them are at fixed lights that have its own power source.
Yes.
Like at a traffic light. So what you see now are the trailers, we're getting away from those.
So that was a conversation I had with the city manager. I even sent her some photos.
I agree with you.
Of
I think they
different
look
ones
ugly.
because I don't want to feel like this is a police state in our city. I do want to prioritize obviously safety, but I also want it to, it to
Look
be
good.
yes, aesthetically
No, you
pleasing.
won't at all. They will not. The trailers are gone. That's a thing of the past. These will be fixed to a permanent fixture, like maybe on top of a traffic light where it just looks like it's a regular camera facing down. It won't be aesthetically displeasing at all.
Okay, will we have a chance to look at them before y'all order
Yeah,
them?
we can show you. We can get them. I'll get pictures for you. Absolutely.
Example, aesthetics are important to me.
I mean, we're doing a lot. We are look at what we've been able to accomplish on Griffin Road with all of our beautifications to our landscaping and what we're doing with holiday lighting and then with just all of our events. I obviously I want us to all be safe, but I want to make sure that it looks nice. And then the second thing is I ride by Frost Park almost every day, especially in the morning times. I do a little drive through the city. I know that you mentioned it in your email about that being a problematic area, but and not that I don't want anyone to go to jail for being homeless, because homelessness is not a crime.
Of course.
It becomes a safety issue where they're like by the sheds and where areas where our workers at the Parks and Recreation have to go through and go to. And so I just want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on that. I know that I look at the garbages and it looks like they're dumping all types of materials in the trash can, and it's not just like for trash. And so if we can definitely keep that on the radar in the morning time to go down that little alleyway at Frost Park, because a lot of them are sleeping. And
We have a director patrol in place that they're supposed to be there every hour as long as we're not on an emergency call. And yesterday we made 2 arrests there yesterday for trespassing. People that were trespassed from the park, they came back and we made 2 arrests yesterday.
all right, is Detective Spicer dealing with them at all before we're making the arrest of trying to place them?
Everybody in our goal is not arrest. Our goal is services. So every single one that we come in contact with, we give them services. We offer them housing. We have vouchers. We don't arrest unless we have to, and that's not our goal at all. We try to give everyone the services. We ask them, and we give multiple warnings. The ones that we do unfortunately have to arrest, it's usually when we get calls from citizens and they're continuing to trespass on people's properties.
Sure.
And people are upset, and there's other reasons behind it. But our goal is to provide services. So Spicer and Reyes, they offer services. And the thing is, we have the ability to get housing, shelter, food. Anyone that's willing to take us up on our offer, we can help. The problem is the ones that we continually see in the city, they're ones that refuse, like one gentleman.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. They refuse our help. And they refuse our help. So the ones that we unfortunately have to arrest sometimes because they are trespassing on people's property, they refuse our help. And that's a problem. We do our best we can.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you, and thank you, Chief, for all that you guys are doing to just make our city safer, more secure. making the accountability, but not just the accountability. The part that really resonates with me is the prevention and this partnership that you're going to have with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I know that the chief or the sheriff was talking about building those community relationships, but this is something that's actually tangible that you're doing. Is this with Big Brothers Big Sisters Broward County?
Yes.
And is Anna Sedano still the president of the organization?
We
or-
met with a lady named Janelle, I believe today. It was Janelle, and another lady came to our office today.
Okay, so I've worked with them for several years in the past, and so I know their reputation, and I know that they really are a well-oiled machine, and they really, I think, having this partnership with our making sure that they're Dania Beach residents is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for representing and being BSO's finest. Appreciate that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Just two things. One, I'm glad to hear that there is a partnership going on to help with the youth, because that was one of the things I was going to say is, what are we doing about the youth? There's too many juveniles. Every time I turn around, I hear juvenile. And the other thing I just want to say is, again, kudos to Reyes and Spicer, because I know how hard they do work, and they do go above and beyond. And I actually went to a hearing with them since the last commission meeting about our client that is the problem, a large problem. And I think it's going in the right direction, even though it's frustrating and he keeps leaving, but I think it's going in the right direction. And there's a lot of people that are involved at this point. So, and that's a big part of that's because of what they've done. So they definitely do go above and beyond. So
always.
that's all.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thanks, Captain.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank you very
you and
much.
your department. Appreciate everything.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Up next, we have our Fire Chief, Sergio Pellicer.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, city staff, and the great citizens of Dania Beach. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been attending the different community civic meetings. Recently, I attended Ravenwood Estates and Griffin Civic Association. And it's provided me an opportunity to address our citizens, give them a little education on public safety measures, but most importantly, to let them know what a great team our Dania Beach has and how they have their back. So our citizens need to know that, you know, everybody up here, our city team and the commissioners all have their back, which I've witnessed, and you definitely do have our citizens' back. So always trying to get and gather some feedback from our stakeholders, and I believe that's important for them to know that we're trying to do the best thing for them. So we will be traveling to, and when I say we, is myself, a firefighter paramedic that's stationed at Station 1, and our fleet manager to Lynn, Missouri next week. We're going to visit Osage ambulances. Now, I know I spoke about this last month, but I want to give you a little bit more. We're visiting Osage to go over the rebuild of specifically Rescue 17. This is going to give us an opportunity to ensure that we get the highest standards for our emergency vehicles. Osage Ambulances is renowned for its expertise in ambulance manufacturing and refurbishment. They offer state-of-the-art facilities and very experienced technicians. So when we looked to see who would, you know, take care of refurbishing our trucks, we picked the best. It's going to be a little bit of a cold trip, but you know what? I'll sacrifice just to make sure that we get the right trucks. We're going to be able to collaborate with their team and discuss specific requirements that we have, review the design and construction of what we currently have and how we can make it better, and hopefully incorporate anything that's necessary to make our trucks state-of-the-art. So overall, partnering with Osage Ambulances reinforces the commitment to providing top-notch emergency medical services to our community here in Dania Beach. So I just want to let you know more or less what we're doing, and our citizens are here, the commitment that we have when it comes to our ambulances in Dania Beach. Brings me to ISO, Insurance Services Office. The rating is also known as protection classification, is measured by insurance companies to assess a community's fire protection capabilities. We're up for our ISO rating again this year. So the ISO rating, just so you know, is based on a few factors, and that is the efficiency of our fire department, the water supply system, and our emergency communications. So as a fire department, we're evaluated on our equipment, we're evaluated on our training, our staffing levels, the response times that we have, and how effective we are operationally. The water supply system is assessed based on water sources, hydrant distribution, and water flow rates. So Darren Green's been instrumental in making sure that all our hydrants are working perfectly, and he sends me a log every year of every hydrant in the city has been tested. Our crews also go out there and do the same thing. We follow up behind him and just make sure that everything's working fine, everything's lubed up, and everything's ready to go. Our emergency communications are evaluated based on our dispatch center, and BSO has one of the best dispatch centers with all the people that we added to the thing, to the system. So with that, I just want to let you know we're up for our inspection this year. We'll knock it out of the park again, and we're good to go. So any questions?
Vice Mayor?
I just wanted to say the civic associations also appreciate you coming out to see them as well, and especially when you bring them gifts. He's been bringing little things. It's funny. So anyway, they get very excited. So I know.
Yep.
So, but they really do appreciate seeing you and being available and answering questions. So
Thank you.
thanks.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks for leading the department. Up next, we have citizen comments. And we will start with Hortense Che. Just two. Please state your name and address.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hortense Chai. I live at 4217 Southwest 52nd Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33314. All right, so my reason for being here tonight is I attended a meeting, I think it was in 2020. I moved here to my new house in 2020. I experienced my first almost flooding at my home. I came to a meeting, it was online, and after the discussion on my concerns, not only for the flooding in our area, but for the population also. We have a lot of elderly people that lives on our streets, that's been living there for years. I was promised, it should be somewhere recorded, that the project that they were gonna do was gonna be, our road was gonna be included in that project. I've been waiting for 3 years. I had a conversation with Mr. Quintero from the last project that was completed, I think it was in December. I'm not sure of the boundaries or the streets, but I was told that this project was going to start in January of this year. However, on my follow-up conversation, because I started asking our questions, before I was like, it's been promised, I believe you guys, I'm a member of your community. My last conversation with him was, and this was just like 2 weeks ago, the project has not been bid, which before I was given a date. It started in January. It was bid, proposals out there, we had someone, and everything was going to be off and running. However, my conversation with him was, I haven't seen anyone. It's February. What's going on? Then I was told, oh, this is not happening yet. We're going to bid the project this week. The last thing was there was a problem with finance, and so the project was put on hold. Now, my house got flooded in, what was this?
April?
April? My entire home, almost every single person on that street got flooded. And you don't understand what it felt like when you have no control and you're watching everything in your house go underwater. With my mom, who is an elderly person, I had all my neighbors there, and I called the city, I called the fire department, I called everybody that I could call. No one came. Nobody came to help us. No one ever came to our house. I work with Broward Health Hospital. And I'm like, I vote every time for you guys. Sorry, I vote every local election, every general election.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I just want to see, can this be addressed? Because right now I'm fearful that every time there's a rain, my home is going to get flooded.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Chai. I think we can give you a brief update. Dinser, can you provide an update? Yeah, Dinser will give you an update.
So we'll do it off
Yeah,
the
he'll talk
record?
to you.
All right.
Okay. Up next, we have Joanna Gurnett, President, Dania Beach Historical Society. That's it.
Good evening, Joanna Grenett, President of the Dania Beach Historical Society. Currently at Gasper Arts Studio, 251 South Federal Highway. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and Eve, City Attorney. I also wanted to mention with Tammy James that when you mentioned Publix and she's never off the clock, that's actually where I met your mom. It was Publix a long time ago. So what I wanted to speak about is as we celebrate Black History Month in America, Dania Beach has its own Black history with stories of success from athletes, musicians, government officials, artists and authors, to every Black resident who makes a difference every day to the city of Dania Beach, claiming their spot in the history's rich history. The Historical Society celebrates with you and invites you to visit our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, where we are posting the amazing history of Black history in Dania Beach and their residents and their amazing stories and how they are an important thread in our tapestry and our society. We also welcome you to contact us to tell us about your Dania tales so they too can be recalled in the future for generations to come. Please visit Dania Beach History on Facebook and Instagram for the current story of the Mizels and like us so you will be notified for our new posts. Your history is our history. And as a footnote, I just wanted to mention that the dinner at the hall on Saturday was exquisite. It was very delightful and it was very, very nicely put together. So thank you.
Thank you, Joanna, and thank you to the Dania Beach Historical Society. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. Commissioner Salvino?
Joanna, thanks for all of our roses up here for Valentine's Day. And you're doing a great job as President of the Historical Society.
All right, thank you. Okay, now on, any more public comments? All right, I don't see any. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that the commission wishes to pull from the consent agenda? Commissioner Salvino?
It's item number 8.6. I just have a question on it.
So you don't want to pull it? You just have
Well,
a question?
pull it. I mean, I guess.
Okay,
pull it.
yeah, we'll pull item 8.6. Anything else? Commissioner James?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 8.6. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the exception of 8.6. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Consent agenda passed with the exception of item 8.6.
Would you like me to read 8.6?
Please, go ahead, Eve.
A resolution of the City Commission authorizing the expenditure of funds for pole banner design, fabrication, and installation with AAA Flag and Banner Manufacturing Company exceeding the annual threshold of $50,000.
Okay, well, I guess I'm confused. $50,000 to do a banner design, fabrication of one banner or multiple banners?
If I provide some clarity, and you also have the
Thank you.
director
Sorry,
here.
I was talking to the resident, sorry. Hello. What occurred here is that we originally envisioned doing the banner, one version, 125 banners throughout the city. But when we realized what a good brand and what a good exposure this is for not only the holiday season, but also before that, for the 4th of July, Memorial Day, what we call the flag banners, we kind of went to an expansion of the whole banner theme. So then we went to the 120th, then we went to the Welcome to Dania Beach with the four different. So it kind of evolved to the original budget was about $25,000.
Okay.
That wasn't going to cut it, considering the expansion of the program. So now we're going to pass that $50,000 with one single vendor, and that requires
Okay,
commissioner
so
approval.
what you're saying is all, like when we started with the banners that are on all the poles, and then that for like the 4th of July and the Christmas.
just kept.
So those banners are, that's all, every time you go out there, it's not just 50,000 for one shot. It's, I mean, you're exceeding the amount.
We're
that was
exceeding
spent
the
for
amount.
multiple banners through multiple, okay.
Yes, and
All
we're
right,
going to
it
reuse
makes
the.
more sense now that, I mean, I didn't realize it was an expansion of all the banners. It
We
was just-
started small, it kind of
Okay.
evolved, but let me say one thing, we can reuse the banners. The patriotic banners, I call them the flag banners, can be reused.
Okay.
The generic Dania Beach can be reused, they last several years. So it's not like every year we're going to spend all
Okay.
this money.
Okay, good.
They're very
That-
tough.
You answered my question.
Hey, Commissioner, the monies are in the budget.
Yeah.
But every time we exceed that with a vendor,
Well,
we have to come
I
back.
like exceeding for that particular reason. I think it's a great idea for us to have those banners on all the poles and stuff, and it changes with the holidays, it changes.
Yes.
I just was a little confused because it says banner, and I was looking at one banner and one fabrication. I didn't realize what the whole
Yeah,
process
I
was.
understand how you.
I might have, maybe the backup, maybe I didn't look. So, all right, thank you. I make a motion, we pass 8.6.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay, you have a motion. I'll second it, but, I'll have this discussion. I also wanted to know, those, I can't remember when the conversation was, but it was the poles that are going towards Griffin Road, going towards the airport that are bare. Is there not an opportunity to put any banners there? That area is highly traversed, and I thought we were gonna have like one banner
Right.
say "see it," the next banner say "live it," the next banner say "love it." We've discussed a lot of these different
Yes, we did.
options when we were talking
I
about
remember
it, but
that.
nothing really has happened in that area.
Some of those poles are not ours.
Was that?
Okay,
some
can
of
we
those,
ask to borrow it?
Yeah, I'm going to look into, but some of those posts are not ours, are not within our jurisdiction. Funny as it sounds, we have a very strange boundary situation in the city. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm from Lauderdale, if I'm in Hollywood. I have to look at the trash. I look at the trash cans to know where I am. Sometimes where I am, if it's a Hollywood trash can or a.
Only if you.
It sounds funny, but that's how I know where
No,
I am.
only if you're a
sometimes.
candidate for election, you're gonna know what the boundaries
But I
are. It's
will
like a
check.
puzzle. No, I
Oh,
just,
we could do that. We
want to
could.
have that conversation. I think that we miss out on those opportunities. Or even if, when we have the banners, to get some that are not like, all of the banners say 120. I think that we can kind of mix it in and have some of them say, one say see it, one say live it, one say love it, one have this, one have that. You know,
Okay.
kind of like a
it up.
variety of things, but definitely coming from the airport.
I will look at
or
that again.
And coming to the airport on Federal Highway, I want to make sure.
I think that none of ours. I'll double check them.
I
You
can
need,
put
you
them
need me to
up
call
anyhow.
them? Who I need to call?
Yeah.
All right,
I'll let
thank
know. I'll
you.
let you know. Thank you.
Commissioner Davis?
I did bring this up in the agenda review, so you know, but I'm just bringing up for public because I had similar
yeah, I remember.
feedback as far as that was concerned. And I did think about the see it, live it, love it, and then also images that were specific to Dania Beach, as far as the yellow one, especially with just the palm tree, just thinking of something that could be more specific. I think the city manager mentioned the lifeguard towers or something else that would be, you know, more branding the city. So if we could just have that conversation, if we're going to make that additional investment, I think we would all like to be part of that conversation.
We'll talk to the PIO graphic folks. Are doing a great job with the designs.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. Okay, I have a first and second motion to approve item 8.6. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Consent agenda passes. I'd like to add in just a couple highlights of the consent agenda. One of the biggest ones that stuck out to me is we amended the rules and regulations for our cemetery, where we increased the number of days and that we lengthened the hours for our residents to conduct burial and funeral services. And I think there's only 3 days, if I'm not mistaken, New Year's, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. If those are on the weekend, we do not conduct funeral services at that time. And this is a huge expansion compared to what we had before. So I'd like to thank the staff on that. And, you know, it's definitely a big service to our residents. All right, on to our first reading ordinances. Item 11.1, Eve.
An ordinance of the City Commission amending Chapter 22 of the Code of Ordinances, Streets and Sidewalks at Article 1 in general by amending Section 22-7 in order to modify the petition requirements, providing penalties for false petitions, and eliminating mailed notice. This is an item sponsored by Commissioner James. There is a memo. Commissioner James, do you want me to just address the highlights of what you requested? Basically, the major cost to residents was the advertising and the mailed notice requirement. So the commissioner asked that those requirements be removed from the code designation of street naming. Additionally, we added some clarification under the petition portion. There was always a petition required, but there's more details included now, including that the person who's gathering the signatures needs to verify that the persons who are signing the petition are within the required area, that they do live where they say they live, and that, you know, failure to comply with that would be a penalty of $500 for the person who is gathering the signatures. So it ensures that the information is properly accumulated. Yes, and at least 20% of the people have to come back with signatures from the area if there's more than 100 homes in the area. So if there are 100 homes, that would be 20% or 20 people.
Discussion? This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? All right, Vice Mayor Llewellyn.
So if there is a false name, like somebody on a petition, it's only a $500 fine?
Per violation.
Per violation. So if there's, say there's 10, then it would be.
Yeah,
500
times 10, so.
Okay. And the notification requirement?
The notification requirement is removed, so it's just going to be a public hearing on the agenda.
What was the notification requirement before?
It was, everybody, second, it was an advertised mailing, and then it was consistent with the land development code, which is about, 1 mile notice.
Couldn't we just do it within 1,000 feet like we do everything else?
It's your choice as a commission.
It's, when you're talking about, I mean, this is street naming, so it's more significant than other things, I would think. So I just kind of feel like there should be some sort of notification requirement. Doesn't necessarily have to be a mile, but, I mean.
It's the will of this commission. What would you like to do?
I mean, I'd like to include it to be the same as everything else that we have, which is, I think, 1,000 feet, correct?
I'll ask Corinne, but I believe it's 1,200 feet. Corinne, is our notice requirement 1,200 feet?
It's 1,000. It's
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000.
I remember making that change. That would be the only thing that I would ask, so there's notification of 1,000 feet.
Commissioner James?
Yes, Corinne. Sorry, yeah, Marco's getting me sick. I don't know, you're coughing. So prior to the ordinance that was, or the resolution that was brought to us, the ordinance, sorry, that had the advertisement, the public notice. Before that, what was the criteria? Because that wasn't put in place before then, and I know that we've heard some residents come up and say that it is way too expensive to mail those mailers out. It got like $5,000 depending on how long your street is. And so that's why I asked for a consensus at that time from the board to go back and take it off. And we've done that, and now we're bringing it back. And so what was the initial requirements?
I believe it would have been the regular public hearing notices, which currently it's 1,000, but that was amended also not so long ago. So it used to be 250-foot radius. I mean, it wasn't much, and then the commission increased the radius across the board for all of our development, and so at that time, that increased that for that application as well.
Just for your information, from 2013 on, it's been a mile for this section. I don't know what it was before then because I couldn't find a history before then.
Right.
But the city manager's office actually ran this section, and it wasn't by ordinance, it was by a resolution and memorandum, and it was a mile. So the ordinance just codified what that section was.
Yeah, but prior to that, we didn't have that regulation where residents had to pay all this money out of their pockets to have a notice of requirement of the street change. I don't know what it was in 2011, but I know that wasn't the case.
Right.
And so I would like to keep it as is. We've heard from the residents that have come to the commission meetings and spoke on it, and if we are honoring anyone, and we're going to have this discussion here. I don't know if we want to maybe put a post on social media or something like that, or maybe put a mailer out, but I would like to make a motion to approve item 11.1.
Go ahead, Vice
And I'm
Mayor.
still speaking, thank you. My concern is that there's no notification at all. There's notification for everything else that we do, And especially when you're talking about naming something, and I appreciate that we were taking it off to try to help a particular individual that was trying to get something done here, but there are other ways to raise the funds. They don't necessarily have to pay them themselves. And if it's something that is wanted and needed by a group of people, they can definitely find a way to fundraise for it. I mean, that's just something that people do. I'm a little concerned about not having any notification put out there when we do it for everything else that we do. That's all. I'm just trying to be consistent with the way that we run things in the city. So.
I'll touch on this. I think right now, I think it's just too easy. You know, if all you need is 20 signatures to name a whole entire street after somebody, and obviously we have to go through the background check and everything as well. It's just, there's not much effort into that, and there's not much sacrifice that you make. You know, I understand, yeah, if you have to spend $6,000 to send out a mailer in a mile, that could be challenging, but some of these streets stretch further than a mile in our city. You know, I understand if it's like a neighborhood block or something that's, you know, a couple blocks wide where you shouldn't have to go as far, but you know, if we're trying to rename like a major thoroughfare that stretches multiple miles, then I think everybody on that street should be notified. You know, so it's tricky of how we're determining it as, you know, streets and sidewalks. So I definitely think there should be a notification out there. You know, if we shorten the distance, then I think it would have to be more of an official notification, like it would have to be certified mail or whatnot, just to confirm that the surrounding neighbors received it. But to have no notification, I just don't agree with that. Like we said with protocol, especially something like this by naming a street, people should know that the street's going to be changed, because there's a lot of costs that go into changing the street, you know, and a lot of clerical work too when it comes to mailing addresses. It's just a lot goes into it. So I feel like there needs to be. I'm not a fan of red tape, but there needs to be a little more red tape when it comes to something as large as this. So that's just my opinion. Commissioner James?
Yes. What do you all feel about restricting it to the amount of applications that we could receive per calendar year, and then the commission paying from the contingencies to notify however, if you wanted to be 250 feet, if you wanted to be 500 feet, if you want to be a mile, if you want to be the entire city, it doesn't really matter. But we aren't bombarded with, applications to change the street name. And I think if we are considering that, if we are going to bestow that honor, that, we put a little skin in the game, I'm okay with it. And I didn't want to change this for one application and for one individual, just to put that on the record. I'm just looking at how processes have changed from when I had a street named after myself. I don't know how many signatures it was. It wasn't 20 signatures. I think it was 20%, but it depends on, how large the area is. I don't care if they have to go and knock on every single door on the street that it is. I'm okay with that too. I'm just trying to make it more not so much cost burden. The other things I'm open to interpretation, but again, if we say, okay, no more than 2 applications for a street renaming in a fiscal year, and we allocate, $10,000 in our commission contingency budget for that, I think that could be a win-win.
Vice Mayor?
So I think it is 20%, and I think that's what the law is that's here, right? 20%. It's not 20, it's 20, but that was an example before we're saying 100. So 20%, I don't have an issue with. I do think though that there does need to be you have to notify the people that it's impacting. So if you're living on a street and you're going to change the name of it, I think you do need to notify those individuals. So again, if we're consistent with everything else we've done throughout the city as far as notifications, it's 1,000 feet. If we do 1,000 feet from this particular location, whatever it is, and it ends up being very expensive, and they have to come to us and they want to come and say, look, I can't afford to do this. I really want to do this, and we want to vote to use commission contingency. Great, we do stuff like that all the time. I don't think there's a problem with that. So why couldn't we just make it consistent with everything else, and then give people the option to come here and ask if they want to? We may not all agree with it, but sometimes we may.
The only other thing I thought of, and this is up to you, what you want to do, instead of doing 20%, maybe do it a higher percentage, because then you're notifying more people in the community and getting their buy-in.
Yep.
That's an option. I just feel like if I live on my street and somebody wants to name it after somebody, I'd like to know it. I mean, I'm just.
When's the last time we renamed your street? Does anybody know?
Probably 2011.
Yeah. Chairman James Boulevard?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not gonna. It does. I agree. It doesn't happen all the time. But if we make it too easy, it could end up happening more.
We don't want to be. We don't want to get too many applications to rename all the streets in our city. You know what I mean? It's.
There has to be a balance.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. If anybody's watching, is anybody watching? So but there definitely has to be, like I said, it does take a little sacrifice. It does, whether it's monetary or time-wise. It takes, because you're doing this for someone that either passed away or a relative or something like that. So you got to put the good foot forward. You can't just say, "Hey, City of Dania Beach, I want to name this street after my grandmother," and here we go. So you have to put your own effort in it, if you ask me. You do. And you have to have a monetary sacrifice as well, and that's in the form of notification. You're not paying the city for it, but the city's going to pay to redo all the street signs.
Right.
Saying that's going to be the biggest cost.
No, actually, they're required to. The
They-
applicant is required to pay for the change of the street name.
Applicant
Yes.
pays for the
Yes.
street signs?
Yes.
Okay, so they don't
we
even
switch
know
that.
that.
Costs incurred by the city, including the out-of-pocket expenses for the arterial roads.
So to change the sign, the resident who wanted to change the street name has to pay for it? Okay. Well, I agree with that. Because then that'll make somebody think twice. Because if you're going to rename a major thoroughfare that stretches miles, then that's definitely a big cost burden. Yeah. Commissioner James,
So where are we on this?
you
Because
have a
I
motion to
just-
pass it, but
Yeah, I do have a motion to pass it. I'm okay if you want to, like, amend, you want, I'm okay with amending the motion, to say 50%, of the area contains signatures. But like I said, I do think that if we are going to make a decision, eventually on any street being named or not, I don't see a problem with helping the cost. Like, we are here because we've already agreed at a prior meeting that we would take the cost of those mailers off because it was the thing that was, preventing even an application, to go forward because it is expensive and some streets are longer than others. So sometimes the cost wouldn't be that much and sometimes the costs get up to $7,000. And then the street signs that I have no idea even how much that costs, and how many that they would need. And so would you be more comfortable with 50% of the,
That's not my
yeah,
issue.
20 seems low, 50 seems high.
what's your number, Mayor?
I would say, listen, I would say when it comes to, okay, this is, we're digesting this and we're discussing this, and I appreciate us discussing this. I would say, yeah, we definitely raised the percentage, right? It's 20% of
The total of such properties.
total of such properties in that, on that block.
Within it's if there are 100 or more properties within a quarter-mile distance.
Within a quarter mile, okay, yeah, so I would bump that up probably. Let's bump it up 30%. We're not passing anything, but I would say bump it up 10%. And I would say that every house or business on that block should be notified, on the actual street.
That's my
They
issue.
should be notified.
That's my issue.
That's fine.
That's what I would say. So, if you're on Southeast 10th Street, everybody on Southeast 10th Street should be notified, if they want to change it.
So can I ask a question? Does that mean all the way through the length of the city?
I would say so, yeah, because they're gonna change, it's gonna
They're
change
gonna change
the
the whole
street,
name.
street
But
name.
that's not accurate because Northwest 12th Avenue is also J.A. Ely.
It's already named after.
I understand that, but Northwest 12th Avenue is Tamara James Avenue, and it's on the opposite side of a certain street. It goes to J.A. Ely. So sometimes the streets are separated and they're not just the same. And so I don't know.
So those are different street names, so that's fine. If we want to rename Tamara James Avenue, we just notify people on Tamara James Avenue. But not on
No, but
J.A.
the
Ely.
entire
I
J.A.
understand,
Ely is
but you're
on
not trying to
Northwest
rename
12th.
Northwest, though. You're not trying to rename Northwest 12th. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to interrupt, but I am trying to interrupt.
Y'all done
because I
tore
think
my
that
love item
The
apart.
problem is if you're living on a particular street and you wake up one day and they're putting up a new street sign with a new name of a street on it, and you're unaware of it, that's a little jarring because it might be somebody that's lived there for 50 years.
Well, I'm not asking to take away the notification of the people that live on the street. I'm asking to take away the cost burden of the applicant paying for the notification of the people that are on the street. That is my request. I'm also asking that we limit it to no more than 2 applications per year. I don't see that happening in the past. I don't know how many years. Corinne, how many applications have we had for street namings or how many street times have we changed the street name? When was the last time?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a
So
while.
I'm not asking, I'm not saying this is going to happen every year, every other year, every 5 years, every 10 years. But I do think that, it doesn't hurt for us to save a space in our contingency for all these other things that we do and all these other organizations that we support and all these other programs that we support and have a little cushion in there in case, so that we can, Vice Mayor, notify all of the residents on that street and bump the percentage up to 30%.
I'm sorry. If I may, the way the code is written today, we don't allow renaming of streets. It's code designation. So I don't have to change my mailing address and all my return
Right.
labels because the street name changed. It's still code-designated.
Correct.
So that original name is maintained, if that helps the
Correct.
conversation.
Just
The
two
post
things,
office
that
is-
maybe this will help. One, I didn't take out the sign requirement. So there's a, post a sign on the right of way saying, hey, we're looking to code designated X. So I didn't take that out, which
Yeah,
is, that's notice to the block, if you want to call it that. I forgot the second thing.
It depends on where you place the sign, because I've had residents in the past who have had issues
Or
with.
you could
yeah.
leave in the cost, you could leave the cost in if you wanted to do it, let's say for 1,000 feet, and then have your discretionary funds to cover that cost. So, in other words, it's not automatically free, but should you feel it's deemed worthy, you could use your discretionary funds to cover that cost.
Where they'd still have to come to us and ask.
Yes, they could still ask right now.
Right.
The way the
Yes.
ordinance is, they could ask us and we could grant it.
Those are the two ideas I'm brainstorming.
All right, Commissioner Salmino, give us some wisdom here.
Well, when an application gets put in for a name change, obviously it's somebody that has done significant, things to our city. What?
It's not. Well, you'd hope, because you don't know. You don't know who's gonna request.
All right.
And by saying that hopefully when it comes up for the application, it is reviewed by the commission, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if that person is significant enough to have the name changed after them, him or her, and we approve it, I feel that person's earned the right to have the street there, and, maybe as a city, even though the people that are applying for it have to pay for the street signs and an application fee for the designation, I feel that maybe to help out and do a compromise here, maybe we can take $5,000 out of contingency to offset the mailer to handle the mailing, and then they have a participation of trying to help on whatever they want, and we're participating as a city after we approve it. I mean, I don't know if it's a compromise or not. I mean, I'm trying to do both sides of it here to give them what they know, but yeah. So I mean, if that's,
Well, I just think it should be situational.
well,
Yeah.
I agree. I understand it should be situational.
So if somebody wants to spend,
Well,
the
if
money
they-
on the notification,
Some
they
people
can,
may do it on their own,
or
and
some-
then,
yeah,
but if
need
they do
help.
come and ask, I think we should be allowed to, this person is significant enough for us to be naming a street. I think $5,000 out of contingency is a shot in the bucket for what we do. And I think it's something that we could move on with this and do it, because like she says, I mean, we've had, no applications in 13 years. So, I mean, I think we're blowing this a little bit out of proportion, but I'd recommend that, we amend it to that, take the 5,000 out of the contingency and doing the whatever feet you want to do, 1,000 feet, and go from there. And I think it'll come back. I think the 30% is fine, and I think that I think it'll all fall into place, and the people will get what they want. It'll get help, and it's a compromise on both sides.
So you like 30% and 1,000 feet?
I'm okay with that. That's up to them. I mean,
Okay. Well, then we're getting somewhere. We're getting warmer.
I don't like 1,000 feet. Let me ask a question, because I want to be consistent. So when we are renaming parks, who's paying for those notifications?
The applicant. It's the same thing for the renaming of the park facilities. If it's by a private applicant, they're paying for it, and it is a mile.
Okay, so we just approved to rename a park. Who's paying for those notifications? Who's paying for those signs on the park? Who's doing all this? You understand what I'm saying? We can't pick and choose because go ahead, you could talk, Vice Mayor, because I'm trying to talk and I can't talk when you talking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to be clear, we're not renaming parks. We're bringing forward Veterans Park based on an initiative that we're working with the mayor and an initiative that we work with Commissioner Davis. We named 2 blank spaces.
I'm not talking
that's
about
gonna be
that.
art.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the linear park
Oh,
that
the
we
linear.
all unanimously support. And I support the city paying for that because that's an honor. And it's just because one of us bring it up as an elected official versus a resident, the city covers all of the expenses, all of the mailers, all of the notifications, all of the cost of signage, everything. And then if a resident who, guess what, in their right, and the person that they are bringing to be honored has done significant things in the city, and we're making them pay for it. That's not consistent to me. So if I need to go, and whoever the person is that want their street sign named after them, and I need to bring it here so the city can pay for it, we can do that. But we're not being consistent. That's my issue here. So that's why I said we can add monies into, and we could say only one street name a year, and we put a certain amount of monies in our contingency so we can cover that. If we're going to change a street sign or a street name that all of us are elected to serve in this city, I do think that it is an honor for us to be able to say, you know what? You got support from the community. You did all the requirements. You did all of the lead work. Guess what? We'll help you fund this street. And it may not even cost much or whatever, but we have to be consistent in what we're doing. And currently, we're not.
And Commissioner, to answer your question, I'm correcting myself. It is 1,000 feet under the renaming.
Commissioner Davis?
And is that correct? I just want to make sure that's correct, that the city paid for all the notifications for the park renaming and they covered all the costs for everything. So that is a major issue as far as I'm concerned. And I do agree with Commissioner James on that point. If the city's going to choose to say, you know, we all agree, we all support this renaming of the park, then the city should be able to say, we all agree, we all, you know, support this renaming of the street. And if we agree with that, then we should put funds away to that effect. But I do believe that there should be notification, but the cost from that, I think, should be required, just like the family that came up here, come up here, make a presentation, make a case for why you think that, and if we all agree with that renaming, then I think that we should cover the cost for that notification as we did for the park. So, thank you.
I have a question. So they have to send out, well, they have to get the petition signed and they have to send out the notification before they come before the city?
If we required notice, yes.
Okay. And then they bring it to us for our decision?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, they could come to you beforehand, if under this theory, beforehand saying, look, I'm going for the signatures. Can you please assist me by assisting for the cost of the mailer?
Okay. Commissioner Salvino? Vice Mayor? Oh, wait, you're back. Okay. Come on back.
I get nervous. All right. You know, I hear about us paying for one park and us wanting to charge and so on. I have no problem. I mean, if we're going to do that, I understand that if we paid for a park, we should be not regulating who we pay for and who we don't. The only thing I have an issue with will be is there's got to be a cap, because we can't go out there and spend $30,000 to name a street. If that's why I was trying to allocate the contingency at $5,000. I don't know what it costs to rename that park. That the linear, how much? Okay, I don't know what it is, but I mean, you know, maybe what we can do is, I hate to ask you, Commissioner James, but maybe we can get all these figures together, table the item, maybe come back with maybe A, B, and C selections, or come up with it, and then you know, find out what it costs us to do the lineal park and give an idea of what we've done in the past as far as what we paid, and come back and have a little bit more information, huh? Because I think if we did that and we were able to find those amounts out, I think gives everybody an open idea of what we're willing to spend if and whatever we're going to spend in the process, and maybe the process should be talked about a little bit. That's all. I mean, I don't know. I just think I'm just trying to look at a compromise here where everybody gets what they want.
Yeah, I think there should definitely be a notification sent out. Okay. It should almost be like an area and the street, if you ask me. It should be like within 500,000 feet of that actual residence or business, and then the whole block that it's affecting that's named.
So just to be clear, what it is you need 50% of the properties adjacent to where you're naming it, okay? And then you're notifying 20%, you get this petition of 20% within the 100,
Okay.
if you follow me. Now, so if you want to do mailed notice, that 1,000 feet should cover all of that area. I mean, let's be consistent with what we do for planning and zoning and what you do for renamings, if you're going to require it.
It has to be
And then
50%
as
of
to
your
the-
neighbors?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you know, we could add in the no more than 2 requests a year. I don't necessarily think an ordinance needs to have the discretionary funds in there, but I think the policy could be created tonight, saying that the policy of the city commission is that you would like to, if you support the application, to pay for a certain amount of the,
I think we make that a separate decision, right there. Oh, yeah.
that I would ask for that. I don't think that should be in
it
an
has to be in the
ordinance.
ordinance.
And it doesn't even have to come out of contingency. When we do the budget, building fund, or maybe another one of the funds, and we could designate not to exceed 2 a year. But I do believe that we should be consistent with everything that we do and have those designated dollars too in the budget.
I don't think we need to cap it, really. Why cap it at 2? What does it matter?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
it's up to you all.
How much do you want to spend a year?
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, but that's why I say it's still our decision, so. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so no cap. So you're saying no cap? Do you want to increase it to 30% and versus the 20%? Is there consensus? Or leave it at 20% and just put the 1,000 feet?
Park. What is it for the park? I want to be consistent.
1,000 feet.
It's 1,000 feet.
I'm talking about the percentage.
There is no percentage. on
Okay,
the-
so whatever you're doing for the park, I think that's a naming of, even if it's a facility, it's still a naming of something. People live by it or whatever. I just want to be consistent in what we're doing. I mean, I'm okay with whatever we're doing, just being consistent with that.
Vice Mayor, what was the process? It had to go to the boards? There's a board?
It went to the Parks and Rec Board. There was an application, you had to meet, whoever it was that was being named had to meet certain requirements. There were certain things you had to check off. There was nothing on there about the mailers at all on the application. And
No, but it's a requirement in there, just a reference in the code, which is what Cassie took care of.
Okay, and then there was it asked for a list of people in support. I don't know if there was a percentage, but there was, I mean, a lot of people supported that.
I did not see a percentage on it. I am looking at it right now, and there is no percentage. The only difference between, other than, the notice would be the same if you kept it at 1,000 feet, would be the same for both. The petition, there is no petition required, but if you have it, I guess it's helpful. It's not a requirement for the renaming of facilities. It is a 4/5 vote to name or rename. The 4/5 vote of this commission to name or rename a facility. That's not a requirement here.
I would still want to keep the petition, FYI, just because, people are living in that area and it could or could not end up on some type of a mail. So I'm okay with keeping the petition, okay with keeping that at 30%, but for everything else, I want to be consistent with what we're doing. And that would be my motion.
I would almost change the 50% requirement from your neighbors. Why would you need that?
You said do 50%?
No, I'm saying if you're adjacent properties, you need 50% approval.
That's in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I almost don't agree with that.
Which part don't you want to know?
150 was 30.
I said 30. I said 30. I said 50.
No, I'm sorry. Just adjacent neighbors. That's what we mentioned. It's not people. It's not on the block.
Adjacent neighbors is not the issue.
Adjacent neighbors.
the
It's
people
like
that
your
are
neighbor
on
right
the
next to
block.
you, right across from you,
Yeah,
like the ones that are like touching your property, basically.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't know you need
50%.
to include it.
Yeah, I don't think we need that.
I think it's just the people on the street.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
I would take that off. Yeah.
Okay, change that, and that's my motion.
Okay, look, yeah, let's continue this. I think we have consensus, and we'll bring this back to first reading and let's.
Second reading.
Okay.
No, well, we still
Could you
gotta approve it
repeat
for
what,
first reading.
so we're taking out the 50%, I got that. Are we changing the 20% number
Yeah, to 30%.
to 30%? Are we doing 100 or 1,000 feet?
Yeah, let's do 1,000 feet.
Okay.
Removing the 50%
No other
to
changes?
30%.
No.
Okay.
Can you repeat it again for the clerk?
Yes. So the motion would be, if I understood it correctly, Commissioner James, tell me if I'm wrong, we're eliminating the 50%, which is signed by 50% of the properties on which front on, back on, or have a mailing address on the affected street. That is coming out. The 20%, if there's 100 or more properties within a quarter mile, 20% have to sign the petition, it's changed to 30%. And then we're not eliminating the mailed notice requirement. We're just changing it from 1 mile to 1,000 feet
Radius.
radius.
To be budgeted
And the
come
city
from
funding.
from
No, the city funding
from the
will be
building
separate.
fund, right, Eleanor? No, not the building fund.
I don't think we should use a building.
The county will pay for it.
Okay, that's my motion.
Is there a second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Lord Jesus.
Wonderful. Good job, commissioners. Way to get through that. All right, item 11.2, please, Eve.
Okay, I hope this one goes
Oh,
better.
no.
And an ordinance of the City Commission amending Chapter 20 entitled Police, at Article 4, Wrecker and Towing Services to amend and update the towing list requirement. This is also sponsored by Commissioner James. In short, it's making the list requirement to be for a backup person. So we'd have a main provider who we're using now, and then a backup provider for any services that the main provider cannot provide, or backup should that company be overwhelmed.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? All right, we'll start with you, Vice Mayor.
I just want to make sure, clarification, this is a going forward, it's not retroactive, correct?
Correct.
That's all I want to know, thank you.
I would like to make a change to this ordinance for the future. I'd like to make a change to this ordinance. That's why I'm discussing with the commission, to make it, that the company needs to be within city limits. And if, it doesn't matter, they have to be in city limits. Yeah. Yeah. Commissioner Salvino?
Yeah, I was just running off the areas, east of 441 over by the airport, all the warehouse space over there, to the beach down to some of Sterling Road and Griffin Road. I mean, there's a lot of space and there's a lot of open areas that somebody could open a new business here, right? I think it's a good idea, Mayor.
Yes.
Just so you know, if we do that, it would have to come back to you to amend the title. And so it would be a first reading at the next meeting.
Yeah, but I think along with that though, I think this ordinance is good though, as far as having a backup. I think it's a good idea to have a backup, and I think that it's good to have somebody that's able to do some of the other things that our first run can't do. So I think the ordinance is okay, but I believe in, I would just say that if, when you amend the ordinance, so that we don't put ourselves into a bind, that maybe we should put this in place maybe a year from now. You can pass the ordinance now at effective as far as, because I don't want us to be in a bind if we run into a bind to utilize pulling a boat out of the water or some of the things that.
Yeah, but they can still contract it out if they had to.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I would say, yeah, we continue it to the next meeting, and that would be my suggestion to change the ordinance.
All right, I'll bring back.
Commissioner Davis?
I am good with that. I wanted to make sure that I understood a certain part of it saying that it's not retroactive and it's going forward.
You really can't do retroactive, so it has to go forward.
So it would have to go forward. So the company that previously applied, they would still be eligible for what was under the current code at the time that they applied.
I'll address that with you separately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she says she'll address that with all of them.
Yeah, we'll discuss this with you separately. Okay, so,
It doesn't need to be continued because the title is going to change.
yeah, the title's gonna change. So it's gonna be a new ordinance.
And I'll make it sponsored by Commissioner James and the mayor, since it's a compilation. Give it to the mayor? Okay, it's the mayor's.
Yeah, you need to deal with that. Okay, sponsored by Mayor Ryan. All right, wonderful. Moving on.
All right, I have consensus on that one. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's 12.1. It's an ordinance of the City Commission amending Chapter 28 of the Land Development Code, Part 2 Site Development Regulations, Add Article 205 tabular summary of site plan development standards for all zoning districts to create Section 205-11 through 16 to implement the city's Live Local Development Standards pursuant to Section 166.04151 subsection 7 of the Florida statutes under the Live Local Act, amending Article 200, user guide for Part 2 of the code to create Section 200-60, site plan review procedures for applications pursuant to Section 166.04151 sub 7, to provide for development regulations and administer review of certain affordable housing projects pursuant to state law, and creating Section 200-61 entitled Implementation Procedures for site plans utilizing the Live Local Act, providing for codification, conflict, severability, and effective date. This is a community development item.
Good evening. This is second reading of this text amendment, but there are two changes that we identified. It should be a draft of the ordinance in front of you. The changes are identified on page 4 and 8 are in red. On 4, we added that when mixed-use project does come forward, that 40% of the ground floor will be occupied by commercial. If we have mixed use, we want that ground floor to be activated, so we're adding that percentage there. And then on page 8, we are adding the provision for efficiencies. This mirrors the language that's currently in the land development regulations. For some reason, efficiencies were omitted, so we put that back in this section as well. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? Okay, Commissioner James.
Yes, Corinne, I have a question, about the 40% commercial on the ground floor. Currently, there is a huge problem trying to get, commercial to occupy that space. And I know I can remember, isn't that the reason why CView 1 changed their site plan to reduce or to remove some of that, because he had stated that there wasn't a lot of commercial being used on the ground floor, right?
That project had changed hands, and so when Mr. Milton came in, yes, that's what he was saying. But I would say for that project, it's in a different section of the location, is on more of a vehicle-oriented kind of area. The buildings aren't pushed up to the street like our different sections, like in the downtown area, where we have sidewalk and pedestrian traffic. That area isn't in the core, so it might.
So would Celeste be considered the core, or the place at
it would be
Dania Beach?
applicable to commercial and industrial zoning districts that these regulations would apply to. So it depends on what property.
So it's Celeste. What is that considered?
Celeste?
Yes,
is,
Celeste.
the city center.
So again, like they're completely almost vacant down there too. Like I've spoken with them as well, and it's very difficult for them to. What I don't want to see is we approve something like this and they can't fill it, and then we have a bunch of empty spaces in our major corridors. I do want to encourage some commercial space, but I don't know when that's going to change, if it's going to change. Of course, we want to see a thriving commercial at the bottom, but that hasn't shown to be very effective right now with what we have approved and built. And seen
The
built.
good news is, though, under this, they're not required to build mixed use. That's if they choose to build mixed use, only 40% of the bottom floor has to have it. But really, other than that, the whole building could be residential, and they could just do the whole thing residential. They could convert into just 100% residential.
Right, so if the developer wants to do mixed use, we're saying 40%. I mean, if the developer wants to do mixed use and they're not putting it on the ground floor, then where is it going? I mean, then it almost doesn't make sense.
Probably.
A
The rooftop,
bar?
I mean, we see rooftop, but no,
Restaurant.
think about it though. We see rooftop restaurants now, we see rooftop pools right now. And so I don't want to just stick it at the bottom when, if you stick it at the top, it might be more sexier for the developers or for where we are. I mean, I don't know if we want to
Well,
look
they're
at
not
that.
precluded from doing that with this, the way it's written today. They can do that as well.
But if we pass this, if they wanted their 40% to be at the top of their building, they would still have to have 40% at the bottom.
Yes.
I don't like that. I think maybe either or a combination, but I don't like handicapping creativity of a developer that comes in and they may develop something that we think is just grand, and we're going to be handicapped by this because we're saying it has to be on the ground floor.
Couldn't they
So,
apply for
those are my
variance?
comments.
Couldn't they just say, we're gonna put it up top, and then we just approve it as the commission for them?
It would be a variance.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. Are you guys okay with like giving the option? I mean, you're gonna have to approve the site plan either way.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
yes, yes. Okay, I'm making that. Corinne, are you okay with that? Okay, great. I don't want to just change what you're
We
doing.
don't
so-
do like top or bottom floor, it just has to be one of the floors.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Cause somebody might do it right in the middle, who knows?
Not if you're residential.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to amend it to either or for A5.
Commissioner Salvino?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I totally agree with that change. I mean, but before that was said about going to the top, though, I was thinking of the fact that, with all the buildings going up now, and you put this ordinance into place, that means that every single building that comes up there like that's gonna have to have 40% commercial. Is that correct? If it's mixed use. Okay, so if it's mixed use like that, and right now with all the buildings we have going up here, I'm not opposed to having the commercial use on top or bottom. It's just that, as we move on and some of the buildings are a little further away from the city center, with the city center getting built and so on, you can only put so much commercial use before somebody's not going to survive. Because I think you'll end up with empty buildings or empty offices or whatever. Now, unless we can create that commercial to be, we become more of an office space thing, like a courthouse, or people that want to come in, just little things like that where we have office space instead of restaurants and retail stores and so on. But I'd like to we don't have to change it now, but if something should happen with all of our buildings going up, maybe next year, whoever's on the commission, if somebody does come in and complain, and they do have commercial, and they can prove that there's a 30% vacancy throughout the city, I would like to be able to have us think about maybe converting that back to residential use for them at that point, because I just don't want to see anything open, but well, they can vary.
We could, this is our code, so if it's not working, we can always
Okay.
change it.
All right, I
But-
just want to lock in, but I like Commissioner James' idea of either top or bottom.
Okay.
I think the future in development is mixed use.
Yeah.
And, to be honest with you, the easy way out for these developers is to make it 100% residential.
Well, I like the
So
mixed use.
they need some challenges and they need to be creative also.
Okay. All right, well, I second her motion to do that, or third, or whatever it is.
Commissioners, second it. Okay, so let's clarify what this ordinance is. This is to make it 40% if it's
the
mixed
top or-
use. Yeah, in any floor of the development, right? Because we don't want to just limit it to top or bottom. Well, yeah, because some developers, they might have like a terrace in the middle or something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just 40% of a floor. Yeah. Okay, that's the motion, and I have a second from Commissioner Salvino. All in favor, say aye. 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 Any opposed? None opposed. Okay, item 12.1 passes unanimously. Moving on, no discussion and possible action. That's surprising. No appointments. We're all doing well. Now on for commissioner comments. We will start with Commissioner Joyce Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to keep it brief. This has been a long meeting. What I would like to do is seek support for the Broward League of Cities 2024 Scholarship for Government Studies. The league hosts an annual event where we go to all the 31 cities, all the high schoolers who have future goals and career plans in public service and why they believe public service is important. These are students who are interested in becoming public servants, and so they do have a scholarship, and I am seeking support from the commission for $1,000 to support the scholarship for one of these students.
Okay.
Do I have consensus?
Yes, looks like you have consensus. All right.
All right. And happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thank you and good night.
Happy Valentine's Day, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner James?
Look at the city manager waving her flower. Hurry up. I only have one, other than to say I enjoyed dinner at the hall. So thank you, Parks and Recreation and your staff, and for doing a phenomenal job with that. I do have one. I am going to be bringing forth a memo to give you updates on what's going on in the schools and discussing possible closures of schools and under enrollment in other schools. I do want to ask for permission. The summer youth employment wasn't in this budget. There was some miscommunications in that area, and so. And in speaking with the principal at Collins, because they don't know what the superintendent and the school board's wishes are for some of our schools, and theirs is on the list, I am asking to reallocate the funding that we put in for the playground for the summer youth employment program. It is too late. I reached out to her because someone asked me about the flyer. He sent me the flyer, and I assumed that it was already in the budget because we have discussed this in past budgets. And so I am seeking to reallocate that funding for Dania Beach youth to be a part of the summer youth employment program. We would have to make a decision yes or no tonight because the closing of that window is the 29th on this good leap year of February, and it would benefit, I think, close to 30 youth to be employed this summer. And Latima is available for questions or to come in. We will have our logo on the manuals and all of those things. And she will also send a logo to Nanette, not a logo, a flyer to Nanette to add our logo to it, since that's already gone out in December. So I'm seeking consensus for that.
What's the cost?
Oh, it was $50,000.
50 grand?
No, reallocated from the playground. That we gave them that amount before in our budget. I think we used it out of the contingency a couple of years ago, but last year it wasn't in the budget, and so I am reallocating it. It was in the budget 2 years ago, but I'm not sure what happened. There were some changes, and I think she was emailing some folks that are no longer here. So it's the same thing we've already done. We've done this before.
Vice Mayor?
I'm still not understanding what are you looking to reallocate the money that was supposed to go towards the playground to what?
Summer Youth Employment Program.
Okay.
It's not in Dania Beach, but it would be solely for Dania Beach students.
Is that the one that's through Workforce Broward?
Mm-hmm.
That we usually get a presentation on?
Well, yes, I just happened to contact her because someone sent me a flyer, and I was wondering why we hadn't done it. And then when I had spoken to the team, they said that it was in the budget a year ago, and then the program didn't happen, but the program did happen. So I think that there was miscommunication of who she was communicating with. She was communicating with some of the individuals that are no longer here, so it fell through the cracks. It was not put back on the budget. I did not know it wasn't put back on the budget till I asked about it, and then so now the window is closing, and I'm coming to ask for support for it.
I'm not opposed to it, Commissioner James. It's just, $50,000 kind of, that's a big decision for us to make as a commission out of our contingency fund.
It's not out of our contingency fund.
To reallocate it as funds, yeah. And I don't know anything about this program, so I would need more information. I would.
Okay, I can give you more information,
It's
but if
kids
we
that
wait,
live in Dania?
yes,
Dania Beach?
14 to 17 years of age. The last time she placed them, she tried to place as many as she could inside of Dania Beach to work at the businesses. She also did a presentation here. She broke down all the costs. The cost actually is around $4,500 per student. that gives you probably around, 10 youth, but collectively we'll be able to fund. So they have a big pool of applicants and they only pick certain applicants out. And so
What types of jobs do they do?
all kind of jobs, restaurants, different businesses. I don't work for them, so I really can't just spit it out, but all kinds of different jobs are, and the employers, if they're interested, they can come and a team can come and work for them.
Commissioner Salvino?
Okay, so you're telling me that they're allocating $4,500 a student?
That's how much the cost would be per student.
Okay, so and how many weeks does that last for?
Oh, God, I don't have a
Well,
presentation.
if it went for 3 months, which is 12, that's costing $375 a week allocated per child.
I think the summer is 10 months. I'm not sure.
That's even-
Don't
makes
quote
even
me.
more.
Don't quote me on that.
That's a lot of money for a summer program.
It's a summer program. We used to have something called Beta, and it was like geared towards nurses, and it was something that was similar a long time ago when my sister was in high school. But they've done. Were you here when they did the presentation?
Yeah,
Commissioner?
I was here, but I didn't
Okay.
know that number though. 45 divided by 10, that's
And it's
$450 a
also
week.
Yeah, and it's also costs that are in that for staffing and everything else, and they have someone that follows up with them every week. And if they miss a certain amount, you remember you had your stipulations. If they missed a certain amount, they were kicked out of the program,
right.
and they recap it at the end. We had some teams come here and speak about it.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I do remember this program well because I was all about the program evaluation and making sure that we got the feedback, that we got the surveys, that the kids came back, and we were making sure that the kids, anybody who we supported going through the program, actually completed the program, and that we were investing our money the right way. What I don't like, or what rubs me the wrong way, is that we didn't have the whole presentation portion this time. I really still feel that if we're going to invest $50,000, then, I don't know what happened with the communication that, it should be publicly, presented what the program is, represented, and still I would want to require all of the follow-up, the evaluations, and making sure that we had the final results of the program at the end of the program. So I would be for it if she can come to a later presentation and still come and do those things, and then still have the same requirements as far as program evaluation and surveys and feedback to bring back to the commission, so that we have evidence-based that this program was successful. Then I would be okay with it. Thank you.
I'm okay. I'm definitely okay with that. That's fair. The reason why I'm asking now instead of having her come is because the application window closes on the 29th. And so I wanted to give the city enough time to kind of, put it out there on our social media and grab as many individuals. But I can definitely reach out to Latima and have her come and do the presentation and require all of that follow-up. I do think that's important.
Yeah, she probably has children lined up already, right?
Excuse me?
She probably has, she doesn't have anybody lined up?
What do you
Probably
mean?
not.
To do what?
Yeah,
To do what?
for the program.
You mean businesses?
No, children.
Yes, they have a big pool.
Yeah, she
All
already
of the
has.
Dania Beach students were
So she
not.
can get them rather quickly, though. I'm saying
She
if
can
we
get some
approve
of,
it
yeah,
on the
some of them.
26th, she can- Okay. Okay.
So is that a yes for everyone? And then I'll reach out to her and put her on the
Yeah, tell her
following
to come in
agenda.
for the next.
Well, no, I would need it to be approved today. She's gonna come and give you all the information, but I need it to be approved so we can start marketing for it because it closes on the 29th unless you only.
I thought that
Sorry.
I thought that we were going to have a presentation on the 27th and then decide if we want to allocate those $50,000 funds. I think that's what everybody was leaning towards a second ago. Am I correct?
No, Commissioner Davis just asked later on to make sure that we have all of the follow-up, all of the presentations and everything else. But if we do
I
that
thought
on
you
the
said- Okay,
27th.
well, I thought she said she wasn't comfortable with it. She wanted to see everything up front before she could make a decision. I'm sorry, I misread it.
She's saying as long as those
So
stipulations are put in place.
Oh, sorry.
As long as we communicate that there has to be follow-up, there has to be the surveys, there has to be the evaluations, there has to be a presentation, and they have to come back at the end. She said she was in support of it. If we wait till the 27th, we have 2 days to advertise for it.
Okay.
So whatever you all want to do, I'm tired.
If you decide to do it, we could try and put it on the next agenda for approval of a new contract with them and include all those details, but you're allocating the funds now.
I just need the allocation of the funds so I can tell her so she can send us the information and she can start working with Frank or with Parks or whoever she's going to work with, and then they can put in those stipulations to have that accountability and then bring it back to the commission. Yes. Yes.
I guess. I remember doing it before, and I remember doing this before, and I remember passing it before, and it was monitored heavily, and the program did work. I do remember that. I think my only question at this point was it went up considerable from the time we did it 3 or 4 years ago. And
2 years ago.
It was 3. So it was the second year. It doesn't matter.
2
Okay,
years ago.
I'm okay with the program as long as it works.
Just, how much did we put towards it in the past? I don't remember.
$50,000,
Yeah,
it's the
same
same
Then
amount.
that's fine, that's fine.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All right, looks like we have a consensus.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. Good night.
Yeah, amen.
Good night. Commissioner Salvino?
Well, I got a lot to complain about. No, I'm only kidding. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And I am going on vacation, so don't call me unless you need to. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Commissioner. Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor Llewellyn?
Not a lot. Went to a few things. The 4 Chaplains was really nice this year, outside again. I know they don't like it outside so much, but it's really nice when it is outside. It was a little hot for some people, but in general, it was very nice, and I'm glad it didn't rain. And it was nice to see the national commander here, stopping in Danny Beach in particular, and spend some time here. Happy Valentine's Day. That's it, I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Okay, I'm going to dip into my contingency fund. I would like to donate $1,500 out of my contingency fund to Lighthouse for Kids. They want to go to a monster truck show at Marlins Ballpark, so this $1,500 will help them. And I would like to also donate $1,500 to Love Our Kids. Love Our Nation. Love Our Kids too. $1,500 to Love Our Nation. And that's another after-school program, so that'd be $3,000 total, $1,500 for Lighthouse for Kids, $1,500 for Love Our Nation. Is that okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. And yes, the new year, we really hit the ground running. I appreciate staff. Thank you all for sticking with us through this long meeting. And everybody have a happy Valentine's Day. Keep the momentum going forward. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Commissioner Dave,
Happy Valentine's, kids.
happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Commissioner James, what was the name of the program again, so I have it, get the contract ready?
Summer youth program. The youth summer employment program for Latima.
Yeah, I remember Latima, I just couldn't.
Forward to the ladies.
Okay.